Listen, we don't have time for bullshit. Joe said he's ready to go. He had a long day at work. So did I. I really didn't go to work today, so
my work day was 3 hours. I actually cut my Sunday fun day short.
I shouldn't even do that to anybody. Especially on a day that I work. I don't want none of those problems, man. Look, we get straight to it, man. He said get straight to it for
Hey, low key, I know that he probably won't be considered it, but he do low key be doing lifestyle raps.
That shit is hard.
That shit's like a lifestyle rap.
It's like
trap rap. It's like real trap, like that style of like, it just doesn't sound as luxurious.
Or 2 Chainz.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't sound as luxurious, but when you listen to it, it kind of is the trap version of that.
I'm trying to tell you, that shit give you like hustle and flow vibes. Like he hungry.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's hungry.
And he's been in the game a minute to be this hungry.
Yeah, but still,
I respect it.
He got to rap like the Rent do, baby. Yeah. Yes. So to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts now, doing the most normal ass Carl. To my front, I have my man, the myth, the legend, Dunzo. Give him what you call tags.
It's your boy Dunzo, a.k.a. the Husky Hustler, a.k.a. Fat Face Fabio, a.k.a. I matched the jacket with my mic, so you know I came right. Don't play with me. What's popping today? What we doing?
And then we got Jay coming in the second, man. So to my right, starting at guard, Miss Juicy Jay. Shut the fuck up. There you go. You plugged that in for me. Shit. We're working with limited resources today. I did not have the iPad charged when we got in here. Zoe's been out for a couple of weeks. So let me go ahead and get his little plug in right now while he's doing that. Happy birthday to my man. 31, by the way. So now the 30 is over. So then you be like, all right, what's next in life for me now? 31. And I'll tell you what, at around 36, 35, I'm starting to like, oh shit, I'm getting up there. You're good right now. You're in a buffer zone. But about 35, 36, you're gonna start looking back a little differently.
I'm just glad I'm old enough now that when we had this conversation on this podcast like 3 years ago with everybody, and y'all were like, you ain't even 30 yet. I'm like, I feels the same. I'll stand by what I said.
Yeah, but that story you told the last two weeks ago when you was here, I was like, oh, he's here. When they start calling you Unc at work and shit.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yo, that would fuck with me at night. Like, damn, when did I be? It did fuck with me. I mean, I asked your brother, when the fuck I become Unc? Oh, you been Unc. They're like, wait.
At 34, you're Unc. I feel like I can see it.
No, he said that shit. I was like 31, 30. I was like,
I would have swung on him.
Yeah, I was like, what you 31. Mean I've been Unc? He's like, nah, they call me Unc right now.
All my friends are just getting engaged. Like, this is my last summer, but I feel like it's like when everyone's settled down completely. I'll say this. You shouldn't be Unc until you see people start getting divorced. That's what Unc is. When you start looking up and people are they second marriages of your generation, of your friend group, that's when you're Unc. Like when you look up, you're about 37, they got married at 28, that shit ain't work, that's your Unc.
That shit crazy. No, you're right.
And you approach, I know you got friends who, hey, they already left, they looking for the second go round.
Well, fam, I'm finding more grays in my beard and shit too now. And then like I said, look, you know what? Let me just tell y'all this. Like I said, last days we on our way out in regards to the pod. I'm start giving up some shit that's probably extra hilarious that I probably wouldn't say before because we were real guest heavy. I be trying to beat milestones my dad couldn't beat. Like my dad's line was going at 31, so was mine. But I be out here doing the little half guard thing just to prove a point. Like, yo, you could have rectified this a little bit.
You got all them tattoos. If you don't go get the Doc Rivers.
But that's the thing. Like, I was talking to Jay about that last week on here. It was like, yo, I'm not doing the hair transplant thing or whatever. It's over.
Well, I don't think you have enough hair now.
No.
You should have done it 3 summers ago.
No, they can pull it off the back, but
the pores might be closed in the front at this point.
There you go.
They got to be open. My boy went and got it. He paid the 12.
I see.
It looks good. 12 grand?
No.
It was good.
For 12 grand?
But all his pores were so open, though, so it wasn't as expensive. Some people don't have open pores. They got to, like, do a lot more. They got to, like, stimulate shit and do all a bunch of other stuff. His shit was just plug and put, and it was straight.
Nah. I can't do 12 grand? Where'd he do it at?
Turkey. He flew.
Oh, he went to Turkey.
He went to Turkey.
I went to Mexico. Get a half of that.
Nah, I feel like that's one of those ones I gotta see. I gotta see people who look like us go do it down there, and I ain't seen that. I saw a picture of T-Mac on some promo for one of them.
Where'd he go?
Turkey.
Oh, you said his was good.
Yeah, if he got an ESPN lineup done, so if he's gonna go over there, I'm gonna go do that.
I seen dudes do it with their beard now.
I mean,
like they was taking hair off of their head and put in their beard. I was like, yo, that's kind of crazy.
See, I can't do that because my beard hair is totally different grade than my.
That's why I be trying to tell people, like, yo, that's not that ain't me.
Hey, excuse my language. It's a little too puby.
That's funny.
It's the truth.
That's funny though. He says a little too. I didn't know how to describe it, but I understand what you say. Yeah. That's crazy. What if somebody went in there and got like pews to put on top of their head? I'm sure somebody's done it, whether it's a test subject or whatever.
I just, just because the river has water don't mean you gotta drink it.
No, you ain't never lied. So we were talking off mic a little bit. Goddamn. Oh, I think that was another biker. I thought it was a bus.
Oh, I thought it was a bus too.
I was like, God
sorry,
damn.
we're watching ridiculousness right now. It is ridiculous.
It is. And I didn't know Chanel West Coast was gone. So Zoe told me that this is Odell Beckham's baby mom that's on here now on the show. So it's cool. We were talking about weird stories that have happened to us like in life, right? So Zoe was going in. He said what story he wasn't going to tell on here, but there was another one that he possibly would. But I'll go ahead and indulge first. So like my first 2 months in Fresno, I was like soul searching. I didn't know what group I was going to belong to, hang out with. Is that falling on you?
No.
Okay, I didn't know what group I belonged to and where I was going to go because it's just a big ass campus. Then I also realized that only like 5% of like the campus really parties. You get what I'm saying?
Which is crazy.
Yeah, when you think about the numbers,
because it's like, a big school.
No, any school though. Any school, I say that when you go to these parties, that's only about 5 to 10% of like the whole population that actually goes to school.
There'd be 30,000 people going to these schools. It'd be like maybe 15 to 3,000 kids.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Actually, that's valid. That's super valid.
But if somebody would have gave me those stats in college, that would have fucked with me. Because then I probably would have pulled out of that experience really early. Because that's a number I shouldn't know. Like I should be able to be reckless. Like, don't ruin my college experience.
You can start realizing how small 3,000 people are after a while.
Yeah. Because you start seeing the same people and you know
even
too much.
Even if you don't know them, like, that's how men form those fake friendships. Like, I don't know this fool, but I see him every weekend. So it's just the nod becomes a dap, which becomes the dap hug, which becomes we're going to see you next week. You have numbers saved. You don't even know this man's name.
But then there's somebody there that isn't in the party scene who you know nothing about. You just be in classes with them.
This is their one weekend out.
No, you don't even see them out.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? Like to them, like whatever world you in don't exist in the world they in.
Yeah, they work in 2 jobs. They just trying to get through it.
The master's program fucked me up. When I got my master's, I was looking at people like, yo, I know nothing about y'all. And most of y'all look like 10 to 15 years older than me. Like I was in there with motherfuckers that was like 32, 35, 38 on their second career, kids fucking my age already, and they both going to school together type shit. I'm like, fam, this is wild. Like, but anyway, I meet some young lady somewhere. I don't remember. I don't know what she looked like. I just remember this is the only way that I would know. Or it was maybe a dude, right? And I was probably working at the time. Somebody was like, oh, you want to go to a party? So I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I was telling Zoe, I was like, yo, like living in Dago is like a weird experience in which like we don't associate things with logos, right? Like if unless you have a Lincoln Hornets hat or whatever, then I'm gonna think you just played on a football team or coached there.
Or like maybe a Dodgers hat can get you in a little bit of trouble depending on where you're at.
Again, you can wear that, but again, like you can technically wear it anyway. I've never been like brand or logo conscious living out here.
Yeah.
Right? So like, but when you go to like LA or like other areas, whatever, different hats mean something or whatever, depending on where you at. I didn't know this when I was in Fresno. So we get out there, we go. I told Zoe, I realized like I was going to a non-state activity party when we hit the freeway. I was like, yo, I live right across the street from the campus. Like, hey,
where are you going?
Yeah, this don't make no sense. Why we going here? Matter of fact, now that I think about it, it had to be somebody we work with, right? Because like when you work out in the community, you be just meeting everybody. We get to this dark ass street. And we start turning right. Now, Fresno's weird. They got this old like 1991 Full House street, but wooded area, like type feel to it, or like Kevin from Home Alone, like the streets be looking like that. And so I'm like, yo, okay, I get in there, hear some gangster music. I was like, not my vibe, but you can bounce to it a little bit. There's a lot of Latino women in here. I said, okay, that's cool. I'm starting to look at some of the fellas in here. Big cuffs in their jeans, right at the bottom.
Starch pressed?
Yeah. Had the hammer loop in there. I was, not the hammer, but like the hammer.
The carpenter
the
pants.
carpenter hammer, and big ass jerseys on, and then Washington Nationals hats, right? I would soon realize, like a couple of weeks later, where I was at. But at the time, I was like, yo, this is weird. Dudes walking around with like Spanish beer, Modelo's and shit like that. And, doing the little two-step that they do. They all do the same little two-step. And then they started barking. And I said, all my life experiences have not like prepared me for this moment right here. What the fuck is going on? So then someone tells me later on when we get out the party, like, oh, those was all Bulldog gang members. It's like, why the fuck are we here? What the fuck does that even mean? Through the years, I find out that, like, they're a notorious, gang. Yeah. They're hanging out with, like
I know the Bulldogs.
But from down here, ain't no Bulldogs down here. And not to me, I thought it was odd. This is why I was like, yo, regional stuff is weird because, like, to me, it's like, who names themselves after a college like school, and then that's the gang? You know what I mean?
You'd be surprised. That's actually a lot more common than you think.
Like, name another one.
I think North Carolina has one named after the Wolfpack. I could be mistaken.
Really? There's a gang called the Wolfpack.
Or like the Pack. I think there's yeah.
I don't even want to make fun of nobody's sets. Hey, more power to y'all.
But I feel like, especially if you're from a small area and there's a college there, that's like where your home, like it's like more of a hometown pride thing. Yeah. Like you associate yourself with that. Like if there's real gang activity, because people be moving in Fresno, let's just make that clear. That's more of this issue is like we're gonna call ourselves this because it's already associated. Like we take pride in our city, so we're gonna associate ourselves with that. Not like the college, but we're all Bulldogs because everybody from Fresno. So you associate Fresno with the Bulldogs.
Right. Now I feel you. I just felt like you were selling yourself short. Like might as well just go to class. Like, apply. Go really enmesh into the culture there because as a student, I didn't feel that presence there, but. I worked at a sports store out there. Mm-hmm. Dudes come in with that tattoo on their head. I believed you.
Like, I ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah, you want a Nationals hat? It's on me. West Side? Oh, that's West Side. Okay, West Side Fresno. Then I started realizing these are places that I want to go to. So yeah, I ended up working in them areas all the time. So then Zoe
I got two, and this is why you can't online date. So right before I lost my license when I was much younger. Tinder was like fresh out. It might be like 2014, and I'm driving. I used to skate.
It's like 11 years old.
Yeah, I used to skate. This is we're by Memorial Park. If you're from there, you know where Memorial Park is. And I went to go see this little cute little thing. She was definitely bad. I think I had met her once before somewhere else, if I'm not mistaken. Nothing. Just went out to eat, like something real chill. I'm young, like we can't. I don't really got money to afford all that much. And we're cool though. Like it was like a cool little interaction, whatever. Then I go, she hits me up. We're not on the app anymore, obviously. She goes, hey, I live by Memorial. I think she said she lived by there. She was watching someone's house, something like that. And I'd always learned. I would listen to enough hip hop, like my whole life, to know the downfall of men getting robbed is a woman. Is a woman lining them up.
That's a real thing.
Like a girl will get you lined up. And it's not hate to women, but it happens. Like I feel like 99% of the time a man gets robbed, he's either doing somebody has no business.
I'm not leaving my house because the homies want to hang.
I'll leave the house for that, but I'm not going that far unless I haven't seen you in a while. But anyway, and you're young, you just got your license, like you're excited to go drive anywhere. It's one of those things. I would like you guys' license at like 14.
Right.
So. Go out there.
15, first of all.
Okay, whatever. Old ass man. 20. You got your license 25 years ago. That's crazy.
That is. That is.
But so I get there early. I tell her I'm 5 minutes away. I park down the street.
You lied.
I lied. I've been outside for a minute. I'm a little suburban kid. I say I'm like this, but I'm not stupid. I ain't never been stupid. Like,
where does she live though? What area?
Right by Memorial Park.
Where's that at?
Like by the base where the Popeyes and shit is.
Oh
yeah, I knew where I was. There's a reason why.
Wait, you have Google Maps or nothing? You
No,
don't
no, I knew where it was.
I associated Memorial Park down in like Eastlake.
No.
Yo, you're bugging.
Big Memo. We went to Memo Park. But the thing is, though, when I skated, I was always down there. So I had homies who lived down there. I was familiar with the area. Like, I wasn't like...
That's where the whole show is.
Yeah, I wasn't like not aware of what was going on. Because I spent all of middle school and high school skating down there.
How old were you?
Probably 19, 20.
Okay.
Like, but I had spent years down there. My parents would drop me off.
I've done weirder things.
Yeah, my parents would go to the base shop. They drop me off at the skate park. I get 2 hours to myself. They come back. I had homies who lived in the area. Like, I had been around there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's my hood by any means, but like, I'm not unfamiliar with the area by any means.
Yeah.
You go around there for that long. So anyway, I'm sitting on the edge of the street. I'll be there in 5 minutes. About 3 minutes later, individuals who look like they were probably Bulldog Fresno gang members pull out the house. And they go and they just sit in the car.
They go sit in the car.
They just go sit in this car. And they didn't come out the front of the house. They came out the side of the house. Also a clear indication.
Right.
Because if your brother lives there or something like that, he's leaving out the front of the house. Like, if you think I'm coming, like, I'm not leaving out the side of my house for my sister and, like, the dude she's hooking up with. No, I'm a press little homie. You know what I mean? I can respect the direct press. Like, I've been pressed by a girl, like, I've gone to her house or her brother or, like, her uncle, somebody's there, and he wants to, buck up in my face. I'm cool with that. That comes with the territory. You know what I mean? No, all three of these fools went out the side door.
How many was it?
About 3 of them.
3 is crazy.
I said, and I don't want to put nothing on her jacket, but I'm going to put something on her jacket. I said, all right, cool. I sat there for a little bit. I said, you know what? Something came up. I'm not going to be able to make it. Because they didn't leave.
The dudes.
They sat there in that car.
For how long did you sit there for?
I told her 5 minutes. I probably waited like 10 minutes total. They probably came out, like, they probably were there 7 minutes.
In the car?
Yeah, but I was out there first. I think in my head, they were waiting for my car to drive by to then see. But it felt like
they're trying to rob you on the street, though.
No, I think they're going to wait till I got in the house. Why not wait till I got in the house? But I think they were trying to, like, set up the whole situation, Which
is why dudes don't be thinking, because it's like, bro, if you get robbed in the house, then it's like, this address is associated with the robbery.
But also, like, I'm a big black dude. Like, I'll say this. Like, and this is why I feel like men, which got us on this, like, thing. I feel like in our culture, and among other cultures, is you're going to take the chance of he's not going to snitch because of who he is. Like, she doesn't know I'm from East. She doesn't know I'm from East. Like, she doesn't know I'm from a suburb. She thinks she met me through one of my homies that lives in downtown Chula Vista. Or, like, I met her through Tinder, but most of our mutual friends that we found out later were from, like, downtown Chula Vista, National City.
Have you seen her? Oh, keep going. Tell the whole story.
But, like, yeah, so, like, but I feel like it's the thing. Like, I've had friends do, like, really bad things, but they know that. Not like, oh, I'm going to go snitch on them for doing it, but like just the fucked up shit they've done. They know like, oh, his moral compass says that he won't snitch on me. So I can get away with this and run around doing stupid shit because he's not going to say anything to me. Like, I had one of my boys get jumped by a dude I know. I made that man go apologize to my boy at a party, and his other friend tried to pull a gun on me. I didn't give a shit.
But let me ask you this though, right? So you said that you knew this girl or of
No,
her.
I met her online. When we met that first time, we realized there's like mutuals. You know.
So you had met her one time before.
I met her one time before, yeah.
Oh, and then said like,
yeah,
so you
mutual,
were
yeah.
And then when you called and said like, oh, okay, I ain't gonna make it. The dudes got out the car.
I don't know. I left.
I would have stayed.
No,
I would have stayed
for what?
For another 5 minutes to see if they got out.
Nah, the only other one I had like that, not like in danger, but I'll say it's like back in online dating. I think I told this one here before. When Tinder first came out, I hooked up with some girl, and then I walked by her at the Old Time Mall when I was working there at Cheesecake, that one. And where I think it was at a farmer's market, I just got off, and I looked at her. And when you look at someone, you can't figure out how you know them.
Yeah, all the time now.
But like, we're from like a couple. I think I told this on the pod, but we're from a couple feet away, and I really can't figure out. And I'm not trying to stare, but it's bothering me that I can't remember where she's from. It's probably about 2-3 years after we hooked up once or twice, and she's with her man. And I will say this: I do remember from her hitting her up later that she said she had a man. Like after we hooked up one time, said she had a man. We never hooked up again. Like, right. I'll say that. He looks at me, and I promise you, me and him realized at the same time who the other one was.
Like, oh, he knew who you was.
Like, I looked at him, he looked at her, and I couldn't figure. Like I said, it took us a while, but like I'm looking at her like I know this girl, but I'm thinking like, oh, I might know her. Like, I'm not taking my mind there.
Right,
like, right. And I probably stared too long. I should have just let it go. But I'm young. I'm like dumb. I'm trying to figure this out because I'm also.
He probably didn't know who you was though. He's probably wondering the fact that you looking for out of familiarity.
Yeah, but like, and I feel like that what gave it away to a certain.
She was Mexican?
No, she was Filipino.
And what was he?
Filipino.
Oh yeah.
But I was looking at her, and
I got my whole little thing about that.
But she looked at me finally, and because she wasn't looking at me, and then he looked at me, and probably when I was about 5 feet away, I just saw the look on his face change, and I'm not gonna say he realized it, but I feel like you as a man know when a man looks a little too comfortable or realizes something about your girl. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and I'll say that was my bad, but I
like.
was so young and I didn't realize what I was doing because I'm also one of those people that like growing up.
Because if you look at my girl, like that's
hey,
that's not like, hey, that's not like, hey, that's fire. That's like, I remember that. You know.
So, but I'll say like, and this isn't an excuse, but I'm one of those people that like before about this age, I want to be like, if I know you, I think it's very rude to not say something to you. If we're like on the street, I don't give women the nod. I'm gonna say what's up, introduce myself, whatever, keep it moving. Especially at that age, I was very like a lot more outgoing and shit like that. So I just didn't want to be rude. Like to be 100% honest with you, I really thought that I was gonna walk by a friend of a friend that I've met at a party or something like that, and the last thing I want to hear back is like, oh, you know, Zoe just walked by me and didn't even say shit. And then I realized, and I did that to me, and I was like, oh, because I knew he knew.
But you did.
Yeah.
But you knew he knew?
He just gave that look like.
But you gave him.
I did it. It's my fault.
Phil, I would say this, because like y'all, we got to keep it 100. When brothers walk in the room some places and your girl is not of our culture, y'all automatically assume that she's already gotten BBC.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to say, but you know what I'm saying right now. Because, like, I don't know how to explain this more than anything else, and I'm just making up BBC.
Would you be more... All right, hold on, before you even get there, I was talking to someone...
Because we about to find the bag now.
Do you think it's weirder if, like, she's older and you're her first black guy?
No.
Because I'll say right now...
Older how?
Like, the chick I'm dealing with now is older than me, and I'm her first dark-skinned black dude, and I think that's a little... I'm kind of surprised to be honest.
It's not like y'all come in bunches, like going after
But, like,
them.
she's dating, like, I'm talking about all the other ones that I'm aware of to a certain degree look like Daddy Yankee Puerto Rican. Like...
Yeah, but she probably had enough of those types.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like... It would throw me off
When
more.
you say dark-skinned black dude, though, I think of, like... Because usually...
At least my brother's color.
They go after like the real foreign dudes that came like from,
yeah, sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But like what I'm speaking to is like, you know what I'm talking about, because I feel like other races feel threatened by our swag. Sometimes.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like necessarily like, oh, it's almost like dudes look at their chick and be like, he ain't shit, but my girl might think he is.
You know what's funny? It's like this, like, she won't leave me for him, but that's her type. If she was, it's funny, I've said this before, I used to tell one of my homegirls all the time, we can't date till your grandparents die. Like, if her grandparents are dead, then, like, yeah, she would date a dude who probably looks like that, but they're still alive, so she's dating you, my guy.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. But I feel like that's across both races. I feel like there's always that sector.
No, I don't feel threatened when white men walk around, like, saying hello to my wife or nothing.
You know, it's funny you say that though, but I would say this. I think, and I can't speak for them, but I feel like amongst my Asian friends, they always talk about the Asian dude who gets the white girl or the Asian girl who only dates white men. I feel like they have that persona about white people. Like when a white guy comes in the room, like a tall, skinny white dude comes in the room. Because we already know it's gonna be a little short Asian chick with a tall, skinny white guy. Am I lying?
You're right.
I feel like that's, and this isn't like just harping on the Asian community. We're just using you guys as an example. Almost every
Negroes as an example. That's cool. We're in the second example.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I feel like I feel like they have that, because I feel like I've definitely been with the Filipino or like the Thai homies, and that guy walks in the room, or like, you know, one of the homies that we hoop with, you know, he's got the one tall white boy that you hoop with. Yeah. He walks in, and I'm like,
The term jungle fever came from something.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't hear about that anywhere else.
No, yellow fever.
Who?
Yellow fever.
I've never heard of that. What is that? What is yellow fever?
The love for Asian. White men who only date Asian women.
They call that the yellow fever from Asian?
Yes.
I mean, white man, what's up? Where to introduce you?
What's happening?
No, I turned on the AC. The food probably turned it off.
Have you ever heard
his joints be hurting?
Have you heard the term yellow fever before?
Yeah.
Thank you. See, you're wild.
No. In terms of people being sick? Or are you talking about in terms of like dating preference?
Oh, I mean, it's not the best way to describe your.
No, that's
preference for the Asian
we're
culture.
just.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I've heard
you knew it? Okay.
That's what we're saying. I'm not saying it's politically correct, but that is how they describe it.
But okay, so what I was telling Zoe, right before you got here, Jay is here. Everybody,
Hi,
I did
hi.
give her intro tag before she got here. You guys can validate that once you got, when you talk to her. What I was telling Zoe is that like when you are in front of like women of different nationalities, or shit, even I don't know. You could speak for this from a black woman's point of view too.
Yeah.
But like when, let's say if I see a Latina girl with her dude and he's a Mexican dude too, right?
Okay, so two Mexican.
If she look
people
at me
together.
and say what's up and be like, hey, they be automatically feeling threatened sometimes. Like I know my girl, he probably ain't shit, but she probably would like that.
like
you
that
get
little
what-
But I feel like
insecure.
that's like a person.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's like knowing your person's type. Like one of my boys.
Nah, these be the ones that never really mess with black dudes.
But
You
that's
just said-
but there's the difference between knowing a want and then knowing what's accessible. Like she might want it, it just might not be accessible. And that's the difference. Like that's what I mean, like knowing your girl. Like this is a little too much. But one of my boys told me, he said he was in a long relationship. Him and his girl would watch adult films together, try to spice it up.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
said I learned a lot about her preferences
That's funny.
because of it. But
That's
he said,
funny.
but I couldn't hold it against
Damn.
her because we had to have that moment of like. But now she also knows what I'm into, and it wasn't. And both of them kind of came to the conclusion like it's funny that they ended up together. But like when it comes to that genre of film, neither one of their specific like demographics was what the other one was looking for when looking for that. You know what I mean? It's a fantasy. It's an escape. So yeah, she might walk in and be like, "Damn, I would love that," but you're not accessible to her. You know what I mean? Like he might know, like, all right, if she could have a one-off, possibly, but that's not what she wants every day. You know what I mean?
I agree with that part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a fantasy. It's like you get a little escape, like, I wish, but I don't really wish. You know what I mean?
Look, the whole color today is just giving real positive summer energy right now. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like,
Do I look like a ray of sunshine?
yeah, when you came in, I just felt better. I don't even know
like
why.
I'll give you that.
I was like,
I kind of wish I wish we were potting during the day now. Like we should open up these windows. Like,
yeah, it was the hat too, with the combo, the hair, the whole nine.
I like the earrings. I'm fucking with the
Thank you.
earrings.
You know, I shaved my.
I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Carlis did it.
yeah.
Okay. I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm still getting
Acclimated?
exactly.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, I love it. As far as like just not-
Routines and all
Oh
that.
my
Yeah.
god,
you want
I
less
feel
thing to
so
worry
good.
about?
Exactly. I'm still getting used to like my skin in it, but sometimes I catch little glimpses of myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty.
Hey, you have a good head shape.
You know what?
You
That
should
is a
be
real
happy
deal.
about that.
My wife said the
People
same thing
used
about
to
herself.
say that all the time, and I never got it. I mean, I was like, I don't really. I mean, I know. I used to cut my hair. I cut my hair a lot, but I didn't really know what it looked like. And then when I saw last week's video,
Yeah.
and I saw my side profile, I was like, yeah,
It
that's
actually
a pretty
fits.
I got-
decent like head shape.
You know
got
that
a-
skin
I got a
tone
head-
too.
I got a head like a
No,
Shar-Pei
it's
puppy.
really-
So it's the
Wait,
truth.
that sounded crazy?
No, she's
No,
like
he has Shar-Pei head.
Yeah, I got a
my,
Shar-Pei head.
My husband has a very, or my
Yeah, I
ex.
got. You know what's funny? I'm fat
interesting-
and I don't have the rolls in the back of my head,
He
but that's
does.
because when I was skinny, I had the rolls.
He did have one of these.
The fat it expanded the head shape. You think I'm playing? I'm dead
Stop.
ass serious. Carlos, you cut my hair. Do I got?
I haven't
I don't
seen
have
it
a,
recently.
I don't
You
have a
won't let-
neck roll.
he
I don't got a
won't-
neck roll. But
he
Skinny
won't-
Zoe had a neck roll. It's
Oh
crazy.
my God.
I had all this skin for no reason.
How did we land here? How did we go from me looking like
Oh my
like
God.
sunshine to neck rolls?
Oh, he
I mean,
said
I like to call it
expanded. It's
range.
crazy. Range is crazy. So how you fit? How you been, Jay?
Let's see. I've been. How long have you guys been chatting?
We ain't been doing nothing but bullshit. 30 minutes, but we've been bullshitting
We were talking
though.
about getting lined up. We were
Yeah.
talking about
Okay.
gang member fights.
You came in here like I said, ray of light. The whole topic changed right now.
We've been out here just trying to warn. Hey, know where you're at. This has actually been a PSA the last 27
Yeah,
years.
it has.
There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
absolutely.
that. Definitely know where you're at. Know your surroundings.
No, that's real.
My thought always says keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah,
you know?
so that means don't hang out next to 32nd Street.
Bro, she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I stayed in the car. I knew something was fishy. So basically, to sum it all up.
Yeah.
I met up with a young lady I had met once before. I texted her about 5 minutes before I was supposed to be there, even though I was already there. Hey, I'm 5 minutes away. 3 dudes walked out the house. I stayed in the car to see if they left. They didn't leave. I text her 5 minutes later. You know what? Not going to be able to make it because I know a lineup when I see one.
Wait, how do you know they were for her?
Well, they walked out the house and then they didn't leave.
Like they sat in the car, he said.
Oh, that's weird.
I know. Weird enough for me not to go. Like, I wouldn't go. But after I told him after he called, I would have stayed to see if they got out the car.
Nah.
You never saw her again after that?
Nah.
Okay, that's good.
I don't need, like, what I need to talk to you about?
Not to
Even
say-
if
you
it
said
didn't
you had
happen, we
mutual
weren't
friends.
What if they were
invested.
like your cousins and they were leaving?
They were smoking in the
They
car.
came out the side door. I was telling them this. Family goes out the front door.
That's a good
All
point,
three of
too.
them came out the side door. I
You
don't
don't
trust
know
them.
her life. Maybe she uses the side door every day.
Hey,
Maybe it's more
hey,
convenient.
hey, you know
it
what?
goes straight to the
Hey,
driveway.
hey, you know what? I'll never.
He said he's seen her once before. All of a sudden, he knows her routine, which door she uses.
Hey, I'll say this. My safety, I don't question.
Mine's
Hey, you know what?
You
You,
know what?
could be
I
right.
agree with her.
Hey,
I'm
you know
right.
But I'm
she.
also not doing it.
Exactly.
It's
You know what's crazy? Hey, you know, hey,
I agree with her.
We talked. We talked on this
Those are
pod.
great. Those are great.
Hey, we talked on this pod about numerous topics, and one thing we said is, if it feels off,
That's very
you should
true.
react accordingly.
There's a lot of
It's
yellow on
self-talk.
today. So I'm missing the memo right now.
It's summertime. What do
I'm
you
missing
mean?
something.
It felt off.
You
I
two
went
look like
home.
winter. Why are you dressed like it's sick?
He got off of work. He got off of work.
Take off your jacket.
No.
I'm outside.
Get comfortable.
He doesn't
I
look
am.
like he went to work with that jacket on. I would say.
Aren't you hot?
He's all black in
We
there.
all look like we're at 3 different events. What's going on?
Yeah, I definitely.
Next pod
I definitely look like
recorded
an
That's funny
AAU
as
dad
hell.
right there.
Yeah,
That's
Next pod
crazy.
texting you.
I'll look at dress.
She said, "Yo, look like you're."
Group chat. Let's get it together.
I was at Sunday Funday.
different-
Carlos was at the
Three
field.
different
They
events.
went
It's
to a
crazy.
festival.
Are we skipping
I
how
went
we're
to a
doing?
game
Because
of
I do
tennis.
have more fire to get to. Are we skipping how we're doing?
I ain't
Oh,
doing-
no. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I just want to make sure because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other shit I got is gonna get us on this same type of wave. So we want to get serious about how we do it first. Let's do that.
Okay, let's see. Okay, real quick, how we're doing. We're hanging in there day by day. Last Thursday, I don't know if she would want me to tell. I don't know. You know, people be private. But people also, I want to give people their flowers.
You have to say names.
Yeah. Okay. So someone I used to work with, who I still have like close relations with, she ended up surprising me and was like, she had booked me a motel stay for a week. So Thursday night I checked in. So that was so nice because it was like, a bed, a shower.
Man, that's real.
I've had the
That's
kids. Yeah. And she just literally, and you know what? Like, I was telling my daughter, because, it's hard. It's like when somebody is experiencing like really hardship and like crisis, like a death in the family, had a new baby, homelessness, like when you're kind of in those like transition major tough times, like it's hard to like know how to help people, and it's really hard to ask for help, right? Like
Right.
It's hard to swallow your pride, your ego, or even just like you don't want to put your burden on others, so when you're in a position to really help somebody, like and you really actually want to help them, the most helpful thing is just to do what you can. So like instead of like saying like, well, what do you need, or if you need something, reach out. It's like, if you know how to cook and you want to make a meal, drop it off. If you don't cook but you're like, I can give them a DoorDash, like send a DoorDash, or like just do those things. And that's how she did. Like she just literally booked it and sent me the a screenshot of like the confirmation number. Like there wasn't a conversation, or you know what I mean. And I think that like that is such a like beautiful blessing, because not only is it like the help in itself, but it's also like the like emotional and mental and kind of like that labor, taking that off too, and just taking that like initiative.
Like not as, excuse me, not care, but like it's not as intrusive. Like you don't have to go through the whole like. I feel like a lot of times to your point, like you don't want to actually admit what help someone may need. So just throwing it out there is like, hey, if you need this, we don't need to have a conversation. I don't need you to go through whatever, to your point, like all the emotions of it. But if this does help you, it's right here for you.
Yeah, and not even like, I wouldn't say intrusive, but I would say more so like it's just people don't like asking for help. So it's just more so like taking that initiative and like actually doing the act. So I guess like skipping that middle part of like, and just doing in whatever capacity you have to do for someone, you know. And so I just really was appreciative of that. So just, you know, like as you go through these like ups and downs, I think like you had I had seen your post about the young man who you mentored, his letter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yeah.
And he had written in there, and it really spoke to me. And I thought, like, you know, how beautiful. Like, sometimes you don't know, like, when we work with so many kids, you know, but you don't always really know the impact you've left, especially, like, after, like, a long time. And so it's, like, to me, it's so reaffirming when I get, like, reminded that, like, oh, damn, like, I really did impact somebody's life, you know?
Right.
But he had written something about, like, being in a, and I'm not quoting him, but the gist of it was, like, being in a position, like, you know, being, like, basically down and out, like, it humbles you and, like, it gives you the opportunity, though, to, like, see, like, how generous and how, like, people can be a blessing to you. And it's almost like you can't experience, like, a certain level of gratitude without experiencing like a certain level of lack, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whether that's financial, emotional, you know, spiritual, like, so yeah, so, you know, just taking the ups and downs and moving through things. That I'm back on course, looking like hopefully I'll still be moving out to Florida before the end of the summer, just in time to get the kids started for school. And so in the meantime, just kind of figuring certain things out and trying to navigate through resources and things like that. But long story short, I am alive. I'm blessed. I'm stressed. And I'm also literally becoming like, I'm going to become like an autism expert. Because it's I really have, like, I don't know if people are sick of me talking about it, but this is my life now. So I don't know, like, it's not my personality, but it's definitely like, this is a big part of my life and having to figure out this shit. Because this shit is crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I really have a son that has, like, a disability. Like, you know, I'm like, this is real. He has a dance performance coming up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta call his dance teacher and ask her.
How's he doing to practice?
Okay, but hold on. How old is he? Turn on.
Why you do my boy like that?
But the question
you said it was like he won't go warm up or nothing. Like he
was gonna rip the velour suit right off.
I don't know. Honest to God.
But how old is he?
He'll be 3 in July.
Okay. I'm not to say anything.
He'll be with the rest of the kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, a disability aside, it's not gonna look good for any of them. It's like they're 3. They're like 3. I'm like, it's different. They're like 18 busting down breakdance. They're 3.
No, man, these kids are at least gonna be standing in line and tapping. They're gonna be
It's been
like
a while
trying
since
to
you had a
grab-
3-year-old. Because none of these.
I'm gonna let you know.
My daughter did her shit.
I've seen a child pee on the floor at a dance just sat on the floor.
You guys are making me feel
Perfectly
like
fine.
Yeah, perfectly fine. But that was just nerves. I think you'll be good.
they're looking at the drag him on
No,
the stage.
well, him and 6 others. 6 others.
Yeah, he's gonna be gang that day. That's all.
He's gonna be okay. The way she said it was like a day up.
I was like, I thought he was like an advanced hip hop course 3 second semester.
He's gonna have a few sessions.
Yeah, he good.
I'm like, Lord, help us.
Look,
It's gonna be a lot, though. It's gonna be like sensory. It's gonna be a lot.
Okay, in that case, yeah, I'll give you that. Okay, all jokes aside, that's valid. That's valid.
And so I'm just want to avoid like a meltdown, so I gotta hit her up in an email or call her and just say like, hey, what are the
Some tell me she know already.
accommodations we can make?
For all of them, not for sure.
She knows, but I'm like, I'm gonna tell her about
You want
like
the reassurance.
and I want to tell her like, you know, what does she think about me doing like us doing? I know it sounds ironic, but like noise canceling headphones, which
Would he
I
learn?
think that's a bad idea.
you know, I don't know. That's why.
Because I was thinking earplugs, but I was like, he might
That
not
might-
like
that's
that.
a-
That's
that's a lie.
actually a great. I didn't think about that. Damn it.
Like earplugs?
No, he like headphones. He probably won't want to wear them. Damn.
Yeah, because you
But
got
I
to actually
think,
get
but it's
in
going to
and put
start
it
it
on.
now though, because you never know what's going to happen
Maybe
in
I
the
can
future.
try.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you try. You never.
it's in like 2 weeks. The performance.
You never
How
know
many
what
parents
to
are
go.
gonna be
Like,
there?
he might enjoy it more.
It's so it goes to a performing arts preschool, but it's a part of a larger organization called the Heartbeat Performing Arts Academy, and they're like based off of like an HBC, and so they have a drum line, they have a full dance, and then they have 3 different sites, and then they have preschool and toddler. So there are 3 sites, and each toddler and preschool room from each site. In addition to the older kids who are like teenagers who are getting prepped to go to HBCs, their drumline. What is the dance team called? Like HBCs, I can't think of it. There's a specific name.
That's crazy. You asked me that. I'm not going to get it right.
I was
Do you
gonna
guys know what I'm talking
I thought
about?
you were gonna say- I thought it was
That
just a dance
style
team.
of dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and so it's gonna be really cool, but it's a full on production. You know what I mean?
Is that the one by EIS across the street?
It's-
Isn't one of theirs by off Euclid or? not
yeah,
Euclid.
right there.
Yeah, okay. I just
in
saw
the same building as I don't want to tell people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's why I said what I said.
I don't
was
want to
like,
give.
oh,
Well,
yeah.
I want to give them promo, but I'm like, I don't make it that
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
But right there.
Yeah, okay, for
in
sure. I just saw
Southeast.
that. I was wondering.
What
Yeah.
if he came out like Nick Cannon and Drumline, though?
Like, what if this? Like, you ever
Like,
seen?
what
You ever
if he
seen
was really
Step
good?
Up?
So
Like, what if this
he's
is his
showing
thing?
goodness in piano. That's where like
okay,
he's
there we
starting to. Dude, they showed me a video the other day where like he was like making his own like rhythm, like he was. And doing single, and I was like, hold on, is homie like composing a song? Am I tripping?
He's feeling it.
And they were like, no, yeah, that's why I was showing you this. I was like, what the? Because it wasn't just like, it was
He
like,
was there. 3 blind
Yeah.
mice.
Nah, it's gonna be,
bro, I was like, are
it's
you,
gonna be
are
fire.
you the
Like
next
20
Beethoven?
years from now, he has the headphones on by killing it on the piano.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
gonna be
Yeah.
fire.
Some of the most talented. So to answer your question, nobody's tired of hearing that shit. We
Yeah.
we can
Yeah, we got
definitely.
we got so
we
excited.
can-
Yes, guys.
Because I'm sitting here and doing I was like, and when he had the face, like the grit, just.
No,
He got the
literally.
steak face on it. Just,
And you was like, and you was just in the seat, like, God damn, I thought he was gonna just like really wild out today.
I sold him short.
I sold him
You know
short.
what? You're right. You guys are right. I want to be prepared, but I have been. You guys, I really appreciate that. I think it's important to be prepared, but it's also important to go in with a more positive mind frame instead of me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm expecting the worst, but maybe I should try to expect the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always be ready for your child to be great.
Yeah,
I think that's the
yeah.
worst thing. Not like the worst thing, but sometimes kids at like in any avenue of life, their parents don't expect for them to be great, and then they're
Yeah.
scrambling. They're like, "Oh crap, my kid has a talent. I never
Yeah.
saw this coming."
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, and then you're
real.
like, you can
It's
sell them a
real.
little short sometimes. 'Cause you're just like,
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like,
Like Corey
Yeah,
can
that's
really
so
draw.
real.
That shit fuck with me.
bro, 'cause
Dude.
nobody in our family can do that.
Yeah, I said that. I was like, yo, like that
No, she
didn't
can.
come
She
from
shows me her
nobody.
pictures.
Yeah, I was
She's
like,
fire.
I'm like, this is way better than the kids like her age right now.
No, I remember when my daughter, my oldest, was little. One day I saw her riding a bike. I ain't taught her how to ride a bike.
Oh, for
She
real?
just got
swear-
coordination out
I
there.
think she learned in like preschool or at daycare.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She was still pretty young. I was like, what the
Jose's like that.
fuck do you learn how to ride a
definitely.
bike?
None of them ride bikes, but Jose was like, oh, I learned. I was like, how? He was just out down
I was
the street.
outside. Yeah, I was outside.
Yeah.
Someone had a bike.
Yeah. Someone had a bike.
Someone
What did you
had a
say?
bike.
What did you say? Don't be afraid to.
You can't don't be like unprepared or afraid of your kid being great.
Yeah, I like that. Don't be afraid to
My parents
expect
always
your
talk about
kid
this.
to
Like
be
when I got my
great.
volleyball scholarship, my dad like, oh, yeah, you're good, and I'm like, no, like I'm one of the more top recruited guys in my conference, and he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I was a coach.
What?
He was like, because like we had another school, they
You're
killed
a
that.
volleyball player?
I play college volleyball, yeah.
Sold him short again. And I'm telling you, I did too. Hey, when he said I'm about to play volleyball, I was like, the
Oh,
fuck is he
volleyball.
talking
I
about?
lost
ball.
a bet. I
What's
lost a
going
bet
on
from my
here?
uncle freshman year of high school. I ended up getting a volleyball scholarship my senior year. I had a coach. My dad was like, "You're like." My dad went to my games. Don't get me wrong. Like, they supported, but like
When did you start playing volleyball?
when I was 14.
Just and you said how? How did you get into
My
it?
uncle,
You had a bet?
my uncle's like 6'5". He bet me 1-on-1. We were playing basketball. He said, if I beat you, he had just got his hip replaced, but he's big as hell. He goes, if I beat you 1-on-1, you got to play volleyball. Because I used to make fun of my cousin all the time.
Why did he want you to play volleyball?
It was just because I was making fun of her for the spandex. He was defending his daughter. I lost.
okay.
I got smoked. And then I had to go out for volleyball.
Okay.
for your
And then
heart.
I ended up making varsity my freshman year, basically. And then, but we played our rival school in most sports were nice. They were like third in the state. So like, it didn't seem like I was that good because we got smoked by them all the time. But in comparison, I wasn't that bad. And yeah, my dad came in. I was like, I put myself on all these recruiting sites. I told my dad I got like 2 full ride offers. I didn't take them. They were like in HBCUs in the middle of nowhere, like Rust, Mississippi. I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna be an extra in the movie Sinners. That wasn't gonna happen.
I love the country.
But like, I love the country too, but not that country. But yeah, so then my dad was like,
Rust, Mississippi sounds like where it's a sundown town.
Exactly. My dad came in.
On God.
And my dad, shouts to Russ. I appreciate the offer though. But I had a coach come see me. I had another one like Skype in, and he went like, "They've been gonna offer you money?" I said, I was like, "Nigga, I'm nice." like, I don't think you know this, but like, I'm good because all my other sports I was like a role player. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was like, "You're really that good?" And I'm like, I'm good enough. I'm good enough to get this money. But I think it's like my dad played volleyball. He understood it. But to him,
your dad played volleyball.
He played like
too?
beach volleyball, like in the military. Okay. They're like a pro-am circuit. So like I grew up watching him, but like I was so not caring. I cared about all the other sports I wasn't as good at. Yeah. I cared about more. Yeah. And then my grades weren't as good my senior year. I'd take like 9 classes to like be eligible. And like in his head, he was just like, "Oh, Zoe just graduates. We'll be good, bro. We'll just send him because I could go to school for free. He's a veteran." And then he was like, "Hold on. So they're gonna give you money to go out of state?" I'm like, "Nigga, I keep trying to explain this to you. I'm nice. Like I'm nice." He was just like, "Oh," but not like hate. But he was just like, "I go to your games." He was just like, "Yeah, you guys be winning, but then y'all play that one school and you get your ass whooped every time in playoffs." I said, "Yeah, but everybody else I got a winning record against."
But you know what most of our parents don't understand is that there's like thousands of universities.
Okay, all right, perfect. When we went to the Virgin Islands, remember I was supposed to take an official visit there because they had offered me there. The University of Virgin Islands had offered me, but we realized how expensive it was off the plane, and I canceled my visit because I wasn't going to go there. But they had offered me too. We went to the island of St. Thomas because I was going to be able to take a visit there for the club team. But yeah, don't always be ready for your child
to be great.
But always expect for what you thought was going to really happen. But be ready just in case.
Be ready for your kid to be great. I love that. I want to get that like
he might even give you hell on the way there, and then for them 20 minutes or an hour, however long they there for, just you be like, that's not the one that was just in the car with me.
You never know what someone's bag is until they're in it.
That's so true. Even my oldest, I'm so impressed.
You be sounding like what was Mike Epps? That nigga don't act like that.
That part.
You don't act like that.
Shoot.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
Who is that? Who's that? No, that's
real. Act like that.
The way they be saying he be sitting at the table and eating his food.
Hey, real shit. I think like, Corey's an excellent student. What the fuck? Are we talking about the same person? She's helpful. I don't get help ever.
My mom
the initiative.
Yeah.
My mom be like, Zoe has a lot of leadership qualities. She looking at me like, I just saw his cousin convince him to eat a bug last weekend. This boy is not a leader. She's like, Carlos and 3 of his friends beat him up down the street. That boy, all he did was lead himself home after he got his ass whooped.
Yeah, they be looking at you like you crazy, man.
Be like, I be striving when y'all not around.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you know
That's
what?
Hilarious.
This is one of those moments.
That's real.
I looked at this shit right now. We 58. Hey, we gonna start this pod.
Yeah, my bad.
And that was great banter though. I loved it. I loved it. That was funny.
I didn't even think about that.
We had highs, we had lows.
No, it's not over. I'm telling you.
I forgot we were potting.
No, the shit that I got, we gonna forget again.
Okay.
I promise you.
Are we gonna fight today?
No. This is all done.
I just got back. I can't do it right now. I ain't got the energy for it.
I don't got the capacity.
I've had like 4 great weekends in a row. I've been outside. I didn't touch earth. I ain't got it.
I don't have nothing that deep.
Good.
You wake up. It's the year 1800.
Never mind. We fighting.
I'm going back to sleep.
You know what? I would say something I've never said off the first thing that Jay said.
Shit.
I agree. You know what? Topic over.
It's over. I agree. Yeah.
I promise you, I'm putting that motherfucking blanket over
and I wake up and I gotta reach in my pocket and pull out one of them little watches that flip open. It's over. I'm going back to sleep.
I'm going back to sleep.
Not today, Satan.
Not Literally.
Not today. Oh my God.
What's it say?
And
I'm
then I
sorry.
And you have the knowledge that you have right now.
Yeah.
What do? You said you go back to sleep.
deadass.
Say you wake back up. It's
Damn.
still March 31st now.
I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna refer back to that Chris Rock joke when he goes, "Imagine going back into slave times, and you're not supposed to read, and you're driving a buggy with your master, and there's a stop sign, but you're not supposed to read, but everybody's crossing the intersection. But if you stop, then he knows that you know how to read." But if you run straight into the intersection, you're going to die on this buggy.
Yeah.
Or you stop and your master learns you're going to read, that you can read. It's a die no matter what. Because in the 1800s, ain't nothing that I can know that's going to boost me or black people up. Because I ain't George Washington Carver.
I thought about that.
Can you not just see the people and that be the reason you stop?
I know, but that wasn't the joke, though.
No.
Obviously.
I'm like, I don't like these options.
But I feel like I do feel like I'm smarter than somebody in the 1800s.
I don't have a gun. Do I have a gun?
You can find one. You have your wit right
Here,
now.
like in San Diego,
San Diego in the 1800s
What does that
was
look
owned
like?
by Mexico, so you'd have a hard time.
At least you'd be free. You'd be free.
Where would we be? Like, yeah, dang, would it be in Mexico?
1800s, you'd probably be somewhere like Midwest, South, North, Philadelphia
And they don't free.
area.
And they don't free
First
black
of all,
people
I'd
for
probably
another
go to
60
Philly.
years.
I'd probably go to Philly first. But you know what I do?
I'm going to Canada.
I want to say
I'm
that-
going up north immediately.
Are you really?
100%.
I think, but see,
Finding a border.
when was the stock market created?
That's what I'm saying. Give us a
I'm
quick,
about to come and do her.
Give us a quick
1800s is
California
wild,
1800s.
bro.
Let's just say we're here in California still.
You would okay if you okay.
I'm going to let you know. If I know what's going on in the 1800s and I got the knowledge I have now,
Oh no, stock market 1792. I'm buying shares.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. Y'all going to say this is horrible, but I'm going to just tell the truth.
I'm buying
They,
shares.
I can't be, they ain't going to let me be that smart. I'm going to be infamous. I'm catching bodies everywhere.
You're killing people?
I'm killing people, bro. It's 1800s. I'm going to go down.
He might be right.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on.
I'm going to white.
Why are you
I
going to
didn't
jump
say
on
that.
becoming a murderer so
Nat Turner.
quickly?
Nat Turner was murdered.
Oh, because I know what's going to happen.
yeah.
Nat
Yeah.
Turner.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure. No, excuse me.
Shit.
I'm getting my Django on. I'm getting my best
know
Django
what-
on.
absolutely. Sign me the
Mr.
fuck up.
Mason Dixon line.
Excuse me.
Hold on, we assassinating everybody.
Yeah.
We're starting a
You're
legacy of
We
assassins.
say fuck you, fuck
When
you.
I die,
you're cool.
it's still happening.
Oh no, I'm not capping civilian. You own some local mini mart and you just white. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Bro.
They
You
don't
trying to make a
have-
living.
no,
They only have
no,
DNA
no.
forensic testing. I can understand. I don't
No,
know.
not that. Not like, no, it'd be like, oh, you know.
I'd have a hard time.
All the Miss Sure candies
like
I
all
can find.
all the white terrorists that, you
100%. Yeah, no, everybody
Alright.
catching bodies.
I'm definitely
Okay, let's
investing in
move
the
on.
stock
This has
market.
got dark.
though. Yeah.
Go ahead.
These
But
times
if you would have said like the 1900s, I could have been like, oh, I'm going to rig the World Series. I'm going to do a whole bunch. I'm going to go try to find the Wright brothers before the plane. He said the 1800s. Ain't nothing for me to do but pick cotton and catch bodies.
pick cotton and catch bodies is crazy.
Okay.
Did I tell y'all that I met a dude
Okay.
from like Mississippi? did I ever tell you?
You know what? He's
I'm
not
deba-
wrong,
I'm
Carl.
de- I'm de-
Now I'm mad at you.
I'm debating.
Now I'm not mad, but now I'm like, you're right.
I'm debating
you
if
didn't
I
give
want
us
to play.
much. You know what were we supposed to go off on?
Yo, everybody went to
What
murder
were you
death. I
telling
went to
me?
like
You didn't
investments.
tell anybody
Nobody
we're
wanted to
murderers.
invest.
They going to let black people invest?
Yes, do a white man. I'm gonna find me one. What do they call them? See, I went to all this school.
Angel investors?
No, that hey,
Low-key.
you get
Low-key.
shot for that.
Low-key.
What you know about angel investors?
Yeah, what the hell are we gonna do in the 1800s?
I'm gonna
Set
go
us up
find
to
me.
fail.
What do they call
Just
it?
be
And be
Sweat.
miserable.
What did they
I'm
say?
thinking of all the SA I'm gonna experience.
Oh, shit.
Why would you put us here?
They
At
right.
least if
He
you put
wasn't
us in the
thinking of
1900s, we could
Hey,
have
the-
considered some shit.
I would
Oh,
say
my
that
God.
The
She said,
least
oh.
amount, you know what's crazy?
I just
The
thought
least
about
And
all
I
that.
still don't even own land.
The least amount of rights black people ever had might have been the year 1800 specifically. We might have had more rights before and after that, but the year 1800, we had
Absolutely.
nothing.
Hey, I
Oh
agree.
shit!
And for the first time, I agree.
Thank you.
He said that might have been the year.
She's
but
setting us up. Got us over here
that was
exposing
the year
ourselves
of
to all
the
these
black
people.
codes. they was extra strict.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
They was
God, funny
extra-
as shit.
Exactly. They was extra strict there. that year.
They had just got comfortable. They didn't know the Civil War was on
Niggas,
the
you
horizon.
blinking?
And you blinking is crazy.
Oh shit! You know you don't blink on Sundays.
And he's over here asking us what would we be doing. Like,
Close your eyes.
read the room, Carl.
That's what got my ass in trouble in the first place. Read the room.
Carlos,
How the hell what are we
Nigga
doing?
said, "Hey, I'm reading the room. You can read."
Hey, I said I want to kill slave masters. Carlos said, "What about the stock market?" Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
I realized the person that originally asked this question was white.
Absolutely.
Holy shit! Nigga said, "Hey."
Had to have been. So sorry. Had to have been.
And you know what you know now. And what? I'm still black, motherfucker.
Shit.
Oh shit.
Lord,
Oh shit.
all right, well.
Best and worst job interviews you've ever had.
I got
Okay.
I applied to about 4 different restaurants one time, and the only one that did offer me a job was McDonald's, and I'll never forget that. I applied to like food places. I applied to Cheesecake Factory when I first got it. Sprouts.
Did you interview with all these places?
Yeah,
though?
I tried cheesecake, like all within a week. I was like,
Okay.
really need to find a job. Cheesecake Factory, Sprouts, McDonald's, and maybe IHOP, because they're all kind of like in the same area.
Okay.
And the only one that told me they didn't believe I was qualified. On God.
Like you weren't qualified.
They said, keep in mind, I was a key holder / like assistant manager at the YMCA I worked at, was McDonald's. And I was just trying to be on fry. I swear to God.
And I was just trying to be on fire.
I will
crazy.
never forget that. It fucked up I'm talking like fucked up my self-esteem. Because they called first. They told me that I wasn't in the interview.
Oh,
back.
then you got the other.
Yeah, I got the other ones, but I was still salty. 19-year-old me did not take rejection well, especially when I thought I was that guy.
Especially when you see who work at McDonald's sometimes. Like, yeah, these are my brethren. We are together. For real.
No, especially the one by my high school. All of us worked in there. They hired all the 16-year-old women.
But you know what? They probably just didn't want to choose. You know, as I got older, and it's funny that you said that, it's like, some people you just gotta make some shit up to say, hey man, we ain't really fucking with you. We gonna take Jose right here, or we gonna
Which
take.
is cool. I wouldn't have said that.
We're gonna take Antoine. You know what I mean?
I had Starbucks tell me that they offered me a job. One of my boys had another. He had his friend, or the manager had his friend come in, and the other guy called me and said, "Hey man, I'll be honest with you. This is funny as fuck. He goes, I'm gonna send you a gift card for $25. I know I see you start on Monday. Our manager just had his cousin come in. He gonna get the job." And I said, really? And 2 of my friends worked there, and I said, no, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, at least you get
I gave him my
advice.
address. He sent me a $25 gift card to Starbucks. Never had any resentment for it. I respected it.
Cool.
He just kept it a bug with me.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
The interview went great, but he was just like, yeah, man, I know I said you start in 2 days, but
Yeah.
it's just not gonna happen. I was like, cool, man.
What's your worst interview or best?
Okay, I was thinking I got my best and my worst. My best was, it was because it was the style of the interview. It took me a minute to think of my worst because I'm a great interview. So it's just a conversation, no matter
That's real.
you know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean.
one.
So it ends up just being some kind of conversation with somebody. But the best interview I ever had, and I've done everything because I'm a hustler. So I've done everything from like office jobs, bank jobs, personal assistants to Amazon delivery to I've had so many jobs in many different industries, working in restaurants, having my own deal. So I've interviewed for a lot of different things, but the best interviews I ever had was for SeaWorld. And it was really cool because it was a group interview.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
it was
Go
a group
ahead.
interview, which I actually typically don't like
I
group
don't
interviews.
either. Hell nah.
Because
I be judging motherfuckers.
I bet you do. Well, no, I'm like, I'm here to show off. You guys are
That's
limiting
what
my
my-
time to show off.
Yeah,
I gotta
absolutely.
listen to this guy. Shut up!
No one cares, Shay. No one
You're not
cares.
adding any substance. You're not even answering the question.
All you did was pick up flag football flags at the park after.
No, it's cool meeting people. It's fun. It's less pressure. But I mean, I would prefer a sellout. I don't know. Maybe I am more open to group as I get older. But so it was so cool because the interview was not your typical, and I haven't had another interview like it. But if I give interviews again, I'd probably do a style something like this. It wasn't your typical answer. Question and answer. They broke us up into smaller groups. There was probably like, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 of us. And they broke us out into smaller breakout groups and then there was like maybe 4 to 5 of us in each of these breakout groups. And then they had us do a number of activities. And I remember one of the activities was, it was so cool. You guys might think it's corny. They had a table full of like stuffed animals and like action figures, I think.
Yeah.
Like mainly stuffed animals and little figurines. And you had to go pick one that you thought like described you. Like one that resonated with you. And then you had to present to the group why you selected this particular stuffed animal and why you feel it's a good representative, and not like I picked the duck because my favorite animal is the duck. You know what I mean?
They're not
like
someone did it. Someone
picked the duck because Big Pharma's a bunch of quacks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like I picked the elephant because they're intelligent and thoughtful and have a great memory, and I've been told, you know what I mean, or whatever. And then the other one was we had like Legos and we had to build this structure, and they gave us instructions and we had to work together to build the structure. And then there was another activity, I can't remember, but I just thought, I think it was like a role play. Oh yeah, it was. We had gotten a scenario, and then we had to, resolve the scenario and then put on a little play. And then someone narrated. So I just thought, like, what a cool, different way. Like, I think that might be the teacher in me. I do a lot of activities like that when I work with youth, and younger adults. So that was my favorite interview, my best interview. I did get that job, by the way. That was interesting.
I actually fuck with that.
And it was cool, though, because I would get those jobs in between I always worked for schools with my youngest. And then I would be on break during the summer, so I would have to get side hustles. And so I started getting jobs. I worked at the zoo, I worked at SeaWorld, because then I would get free tickets, and I could go in free every time, and I would take my daughter. And so me and my oldest, we would go all the time. Every weekend I got free parking. I had a bomb discount, so.
That's fine.
And then the worst job interview I ever had was for Ace Parking.
Shit.
They had a group interview.
How many foreign people was in there? A lot.
Hey, better question. How many hood niggas was in there?
But
You know what? On God. So it was at in one of their parking lots in downtown. It was one of those job fairs, but it was just Ace. And so they literally said, "Come out here. We're conducting interviews today, dude." You know what I will say? Fast hiring process. I'll get to that after this. So it was literally the biggest variety of people I've ever seen. It was right during COVID, like kind of like the summer of COVID.
You ever seen the white attendant at Ace?
Yeah.
I feel like they all like African brothers.
Well, we're valet. You have to drive and you have to have your license. So I wouldn't say that it's.
Oh, I'm talking about
anybody's eligible.
The only reason why I think of maybe undocumented or immigrants is that they don't have like a valid driver's license.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
And that's because my ex doesn't, and he's in that same situation, and it's harder to get one. But so most of it was a variety of people, a lot of young people, I would say.
Yeah.
Mainly it was either young right out of college, in college, or it was older, 40, 50, trying to get a buck, having to have a second job or whatnot. But so anyway, so the interview, it was with these two guys, older guys, probably both in this was in 2020, I believe. It's the summer of 2020. Or 2021, maybe summer of 2021, yeah. And two older guys, maybe in their late 40s, one white guy, one Latino guy, and they were they were cool. It wasn't necessarily a bad interview. We were exchanging conversation, but you had all your paperwork with you, because the process was they had you literally go through each station, and one station was go on the computer and complete the application. The next station was sign all this document. The next station was literally do your background check right then and there. And then if you passed all of those, if you got green flag through all of those, then you got to the interview. And then, so right there on the site. So you're going through each station, and if you keep moving through the process, which very quick onboarding, quickest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, you didn't make it to stage 4.
No, literally.
You feel like, I feel like cattle,
it's
though.
like it's like tryouts.
Yeah.
You know, you got a 3-day tryout.
I fuck with it on one day.
Yeah.
In one day, it's kind of fun.
Getting the background check done that fast.
No, I was fascinated. Yeah, literally, right on the computer, they
you
had
ever murdered
somebody on the phone waiting.
Next step.
But I feel like
Yeah,
Ace
like
got
I'm
the
not-
clearance. Like that's like you next to government buildings and shit.
No, they
all
had a
that
person
shit.
conducting it. It was legit. But so we had our paperwork, like little packet thing with us, right? So we're giving them paper. They're giving us paper back. I get to the interview. We do our interview, and then I get my papers. He gives me a paper back. And as I'm walking away, I look at the paper, and he accidentally gave me his like note paper. You know, like when you have scratch and you like write notes about people and whatever. So he gave me his note paper reflecting me, you know, which I was like, okay. And at the time, my hair was short like this.
Yeah.
It was even shorter. It might have been a 1.5.
Damn.
With a high skin fade.
I say damn.
And I don't think, because that's a pretty short, like a woman, that's a pretty short cut.
Well, I said it
That's
off
damn
as
near
a
bald.
1.5, but for a woman, that's still not crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a big difference.
It's not a big difference.
Yeah.
I said,
But
I
it is
feel like
lower
it is.
because you're seeing, like here, you're not seeing any skin.
Well, you told me to go. She told me to go
I
to a
wanted to
2.
go to
That's
a
a
2.
3. Yeah, she
Yeah,
was
this
like,
is
when,
better.
when she saw the 3, she was like, "Whoa!" I said, "Well, good thing I didn't go 2 then." Go ahead.
Because by then you can start to see, your
Yeah, the
skull
scalp,
a little
yeah,
bit,
yeah, yeah.
which I like. So I'm glad though. I'm gradually getting back comfortable to that.
Right.
Because I would have been. But so like he wrote like
Well, yeah, I want to know what he said now.
Yeah, I do that.
he wrote bald headed.
Oh,
Is that offensive?
that's a fade.
That's what he like.
That's
she
a
was,
fade.
but she had
Okay,
the
hold on.
body.
Maybe he put bald. Maybe he didn't put headed.
I don't give a fuck.
I want to be
But bald is crazy. Not the head. The head is cool. In more ways than one. In terms of for anybody, the head
you would
is.
know why? Because cultural trauma. Because he wrote bald headed, but we heard bald headed.
Yeah. All you had to do was say scallywag at the end. It's like, yo, the rest don't even make sense. You don't even have to write that on the paper.
I don't even know.
What ethnicity was he?
One was white and one was Latino. I don't remember which one.
did it?
I don't
Bald-headed is
remember.
crazy, fam.
Bald-headed, bald, and then he wrote, and it was like, like sideways, different little, notes.
I just find that offensive because some people are out here sick and still need jobs.
Bro, my feelings were so hurt because, like, I know, like, I love having my short hair, and I know for some people it's not a big deal, especially like how we were saying, like you grew up around women who had kept their hair short.
Right, yeah.
And I think especially like in, like at least specifically the black community, there's a lot of short haircuts, right? But outside of that, especially amongst like white people, even like Latino people, like, that love the long black curly hair, it's very like, shocking a bit or confusing a bit for people to be like, why would you make the choice to shave your head? And so I've gotten a lot of different like reactions, and so I do get self-conscious. I do have days where I'm like, I look like a boy, and so it's some, you work through it, and the beauty standards, etc. So when he wrote that, it's like underlying insecurity for me. It's a constant security I have to work through. I have to be like, no, your hair doesn't define you. You are beautiful. Like, you're beautiful from your inside. Like, this is a reflection of just, who you want to show who you are. Like, but I have to coach myself through it. So then when you see it on a paper where it feels like somebody is writing it as like a negative or a question or just like you literally said, why would you write that?
Yeah, it'll make no
like,
fucking sense.
is that an issue? Like, it hurt my feelings,
And who the fuck was he turning it into?
Well, maybe he was gonna tell whoever he spoke to, yeah, I really like her, but she was bald.
Yeah, he wasn't showing the paper though.
Can we have this conversation?
Let's do it.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Not arguing with nobody because I feel you. But I was thinking about this. I recently saw someone show me a text message of someone was talking about me, not negatively, but they described like, "Hey, look for Zoe." They put big fat black dude. I got mad, but then I thought to myself,
You still bad.
I'm a big fat black dude.
I think that maybe they were just like him.
Just
Like I'm mad, but they're accurate.
Yeah.
But I'm mad.
Yeah,
I could have said dude with long hair, a tall black dude
I
with long
understand,
hair.
but here's the thing. I feel like, personally for me, I had to like swallow my pride and was like, but if they ain't lie,
why am I mad?
Yeah, but not for a job.
Oh, not for no.
Yeah.
That's a different
Yeah,
thing.
for a job.
No,
Oh,
I
you're
think
just saying in general.
that's-
Yeah,
and
no. She has a valid point. No, that being part of it
And
at that point,
specifically,
part,
legally, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, part, and you know,
Yeah,
and,
legally.
no, you're right. And you know, in that case,
Discriminate against
and you
me,
know, in that
sir.
case, hey, we
But
never,
you're right, Zoe. He's right. It's a fact.
we never park
You're
at
right,
Ace
Zoe,
Parking.
it's a fact.
We're never gonna park at Ace Parking.
You're right.
Park on the street.
It's okay that it's discrimination because it's a fact.
Ace is not the place.
They're not the helpful hardware
Ace
store.
is not
Ace is not the place.
She said, hold on, time out. She said, it's okay that it's a discrimination. I'm sorry. I didn't think it through. I'll admit.
Joe thought he had his moment. He was
No, I didn't think it was a moment. I didn't think it was a
Ace is
moment.
not the place.
I love that.
Holy shit, that's funny.
Hey, Carlos, can I ask you a question? Hold on.
Let's hear it. I told you we gonna be on bullshit.
I got a question. Hey, how did your Chuck E. Cheese interview go?
By
You
the
know
way,
what?
I got that job.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was.
Well, I would hope so after he did
Hey,
that.
that might validate what he was saying.
Yeah,
then.
no, he had other things about me. He wrote like tattoos, hand tattoos, and like a lot
Hey,
of
what if
tattoos.
he low key like thought you was like fire though?
Yeah, I was gonna say what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. I think he was discriminating in a different way now.
Yeah, yeah.
He paid a
Tattoo.
lot of physical attention to
What if he
you.
said like buttered pecan on it?
He did like,
Looks like a young Rosie Perez.
Yeah.
he wrote like, and then he wrote like charismatic.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And then he wrote something else like
That was the white
not
dude.
sassy, but he kind of wrote.
Witty?
He wrote something more like maybe.
Did you see him again
sarcastic,
after?
assertive, maybe something like
Oh,
that.
it was definitely the white guy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
So I felt like he was like writing. I don't know. Maybe
First
it
thing that
was-
came to mind, I feel like it might have just been from
Maybe-
all the things he said. It sounds like it was more. Now, if it was just like, if it was just like bald headed and then like nothing else
Yeah.
physical, I'd be like, nah, we riot tomorrow on the streets.
Maybe he was writing notes for him to remember.
I think
so
that's
he
what-
could
yeah.
Describe me to
Now that you
somebody.
said that,
Yeah.
At first though, the first
No,
rib, that
yeah.
sounded
I don't know.
great.
To me, I still feel like maybe, but I still feel like he was like deciding like those. Maybe he was gonna to not go with me because of those things.
What if he was fucking with you, but like he thought like fucking with you like in a good way, but like was like, yo, she got like the attributes that we need to enforce some shit around here.
Maybe.
Like-
Because that's
yeah, like-
exactly
like-
how they
like-
use me.
Yeah, like what if he's like, all right, so who's this? All right,
That's
we
fucked
ain't
up
gonna
too,
go there.
though.
We got Jay. How you hear her? She's got bald head. She's charismatic. She's assertive, bro. Who's not gonna listen to her? Like, what if he's in the office fighting for you?
Is that not offensive? That's a little offensive too.
Yeah, it is a kind of more offensive. That actually
That's
sounds more
crazy.
offensive than when it's separate. I feel like together it's
Hire
more
the big
offensive.
black dude.
That's
He's gonna keep us
crazy.
all safe.
That's crazy.
Yo,
That's
you know what?
Yeah.
Because what that reminds me of is because I do before I did the podcast,
Yeah.
people always be like, "Oh, you should MC the event." How about the fuck not? Yo, like what? Go choose somebody else. But you're
Dude.
funny. No, I go choose someone else to be funny.
That's right.
I'm not
literally-
doing your minstrel show, fam. Like get the fuck out of here.
My
That's
old
really how
my
I felt.
old job after I quit called me to MC the Christmas party,
Yeah.
but they got me because they said we'll let you keep the employee discount throughout
Yeah.
the year. And I said, "Damn, a whole year I don't have to work here and I get the discount."
That's a
I'm
nigga
trying to
incentive
think.
right there
Hey,
too.
hey,
Yeah.
shut them jobs. I'm gonna let you know.
I'm trying to think how they got me because I went in there like how you said like McDonald's like I just want to do the fries. I went in there saying I just want to park cars. I was like I just want to park
You wanna sit in the
cars. I
booth?
can drive stick. Nah, that's boring. I like cars.
That's
I wanted
real.
to get in all kinds of different luxury cars. So I was like I just want to park cars, and they had to convince me to go into the captain position, which is basically like right below a manager, and you're dealing with all the people and the staff and. Yeah, I'm like, damn. How did
They
get
still
me?
parking cars now?
But seriously, Ace ain't the place. Fuck them. They fucked me over. They did me so dirty. I hate that fucking place.
I don't think I've ever seen a manager there.
It's only
They're
the
not
African
on
dude.
staff.
It's only the
I mean,
African
they're
dude
not.
or
They
old.
stay down in their office or they're not on site.
Yeah, because it's usually
They
like I
do
said.
you.
I
It's
see
an
that-
African dude or old white lady. The only
That's what
two
I was-
people I've seen in there.
I never seen the old white. The African dude though, I'd be like, even if I ask for the balls, he gonna give me some fucked up number
But when
anyway.
you guys are but when think of valets who are parking your cars, not booths. Think
Yeah,
of
but I've
like-
never seen Ace though do it though.
Yeah, I've never seen an
Oh, yeah,
Ace
they-
valet. I've seen
No,
Ace
I'm not
where you
saying
park.
you're wrong.
Me
No,
personally,
no, no,
I'm just saying I've never.
Oh,
I've
they're-
seen like the
let's see.
empty lots, the ones like at Horton. I've never seen them valet personally.
We're all at all different hotels all downtown. Also,
that's
like
the
some
only
of the
I don't stay in
Oh,
hotels
yeah.
down
Also,
here. Yeah.
there's some really nice condos, different complexes, condos
That's
downtown.
another place I don't go to. I don't know nobody out there own them condos. So you're right, because I'm sure you never saw nobody that we know.
No.
She looked,
That's what what I'm saying.
She low-key just called us uncultured.
No.
She would be wrong. She would be wrong though. She would be
Because
wrong.
I'm not gonna do touristy shit in my city. I
Well,
feel like
that's what I
how
was gonna
Hawaiians feel
say.
when we go there. Like,
You're not gonna
brother, we don't do that.
Because they're nice hotels. It's not even like the mid hotel.
The
If you're gonna
Omni
do a
or some
staycation.
shit, yeah.
Staycation.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna go nice, you would rather go do that somewhere.
That's
else.
real. Yeah, you absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my best and my worst. What about you?
My worst one was I hate group interviews. I did it at the movies.
Was that before or after Chucky?
Wait,
That was
what?
before. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese.
You worked at Chuck E. Cheese?
My Chuck E. Cheese interview, I knew the girl there.
Oh, you were chilling
What the
then.
fuck did you do at Chuck
He was
E. Cheese?
Chucky.
No,
he was
no,
a
no,
rat.
no, no, no. A rat is crazy.
He was a rat.
They do make you put the suit on once.
Wait.
When I found out, here's what made
Why?
me mad. Because they just feel like it's like a
Acclimate you?
No, it's a hazing thing. Like everyone does it when you get the job, women included. First of all, they don't clean.
Women included. Why wouldn't women do it?
Because that's a big ass suit. They might not fit.
Why?
Well, I mean, no, I'm saying women included. Like, well, one. Now that you said that,
I believe in double.
They fit in the suit, and I did too.
No, time out. I believe in double
no,
standards.
for
The
real.
woman shouldn't be in the suit.
Yeah.
I
Well, I'ma
believe
tell
in
you
double
why.
I can't
standards.
imagine my fat ass trying to squeeze.
But see, here's the thing. This what fucked me up.
I'll be sweating.
I got in the suit, and like the little kids, they be in there like, "Oh, it's Chucky," and then they start beating you up and shit, right? You get jumped in
It's
the
like,
set.
are we there yet?
Oh, you have to put it on and go out? You
Yeah,
don't just have to
what
put
you
it
mean?
on
I just
in
put
the
it on.
back room.
I think it's weird if grown men were looking at me like, "Oh, the suit fit him good," and never put it on again.
What's it like in the mask?
Well, that's the thing.
Can you breathe?
So, no.
Can you see?
And I had sweat dripping. It's the little mesh eyes, and then the sweat was dripping in there.
No.
And now that I think about it, the shit didn't smell like Lysol or any cleaner.
Did it smell bad?
Stink?
I don't remember the smell.
Okay.
Oh, it couldn't have been that bad
Okay,
then.
if
But
you
it's
don't
like anything,
remember.
but again, spray's not enough. And if you're spraying
You gotta
Lysol
steam
in
that
there,
hoe.
you're not supposed to breathe in that shit indirectly in the helmet.
I'm snorting.
You get what I'm saying?
I just snorted, dog.
Carlos,
You're not supposed to breathe that shit
Carlos
in.
is the rat. It's
He
the
wants
craziest.
to sanitize.
Wait a minute,
you.
that's not the fucked up part. I told you it was hot as shit in that fucking
You're
suit.
sweating.
So then I go and watch the instructional video after that they give all the employees at these. That's nasty work.
Did you watch it in the
Wait.
suit?
No, no.
Instruction.
Then they brought it out in one of them TVs from elementary school. That's
Oh, the
strapped
cart?
down. Yeah.
What are the instructions?
So when they get it ratchet it, they ratchet that shit on there. Yo, that shit did not budge ever. No,
What were the
but
instructions?
no, they said, they showed you how to put on the suit and shit, like in
Okay.
one of the little chapters. The motherfucker had ice packs in. I said, where the fuck is the ice pack in this one? Yo, I'll never forget that one fact. It was a yellow vest ice pack. And I said, where the fuck was this one at? I sat in this bitch for 35 minutes, fucking sweating, and these motherfuckers punching me and shit. And I ain't get no fucking ice packs.
Where is my ice pack,
Where
man?
the fuck is the ice packs? Like, that's fucking
Hey,
crazy.
Chuck E. Cheese better still be around when I got kids. I can't wait to go watch my child
Bro,
go
it's
beat
the
up Chuck
dirtiest
E.
place ever.
It's trash.
It's
Don't
the
go.
dirtiest
And
place.
it's expensive.
The McDonald's
It's
ball pit is-
expensive?
Yes.
Yes.
Bro.
I was trying to go on some, I'm like the master of like figuring out how to like, make $15, a dollar out of 15 cents. And nah, Chuck E. Cheese is expensive.
When I worked at the Y, we
They've
took the
changed
kids
it.
to Chuck E. Cheese every day, then laser tag, but it was the most expensive camp that week.
It is.
Yeah.
Every day.
And so, Sports Arena Boulevard, where that Chuck E. Cheese is,
Yeah.
where that Gold's Gym is, used to be Atlantis laser tag.
Yeah.
So we take the kids to Chuck E. Cheese for 2 hours, then they go to Atlantis for 2 hours, and we go back on site.
This was with YMCA?
Yeah,
That's fun.
I was more excited than the kids.
Exactly. That sounds good. I love working summer camp.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hold on. I get to eat free pizza and then shoot kids with a laser? Bet.
Right.
So what happened at the movies?
They put us one. I think I told this story to maybe on here or not. I don't know. Remember? Anyway, I go there. The dude that his name was Craig. I think he's
I
still,
know you hate this.
yeah. I think he's still alive too. Hopefully,
name was
right?
Craig.
I don't want nothing bad to happen to Craig. I did back then, but my frontal lobe is fully like developed now, and I realized the man
I
was
did back
he was
then.
just trying
No,
to get-
Carlos hated this.
Yeah,
man.
you just
no.
had to. I called him Uncle Phil in his face, and he dead on looked like Uncle Phil. And shout out to James Avery and
This
rest
during
in
the
peace.
interview?
No, I said that when he fired me.
Oh.
He fired me for good reason, like on his side. But I genuinely thought I was off that day when he fired me, and I came in to watch the movie. What kind of dude fires somebody because they came in late for? Well, all I said was, "I'm not coming in."
Oh, so you're literally Friday? How you get fired on your day off?
Going to the movies.
You
I
literally-
went to the movies with my family, and they was like, "Yo, you can go home and get your clothes." I'm looking as dead as fuck in here. It's like y'all don't even need me. Like, I made a
Just give me the write-up. I'll just take the write-up.
Write me up. No, we gotta let you go. I had just started getting free.
Hold on,
movie
you
shit.
got fired in front of your
Well,
mom?
was it a no-show?
No, it was me, Richard, Victoria at the time. Remember Victoria, and then like whatever girl I was probably talking to at that time that I brought with me. It's like Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever.
Oh, you did. It was a holiday. It was Thanksgiving. It was.
Thanksgiving.
Got some nerve.
Like coming in with my family, but that's a legit
How
mistake.
did you not know you were working?
Because back then you didn't get your schedule like in an email form, and you had to like copy
Write
that
it
fuck
down.
down on the bulletin board.
Oh, you wasn't outside. I forgot about having to
That's what
literally
I'm
write
saying.
down your
I
schedule.
know my schedule now all the time because I work like these type of jobs where it's like but how they send you your shit?
I'm out.
See?
Yeah, no, we
Like,
definitely.
we didn't have that shit,
Yeah.
and the phones were so pixelated back then. It didn't fucking matter if I
Yeah,
took
I
a
used to have
photo of
to,
that
I used to
shit.
have to call Kronos and it would read off my schedule.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've had
that used to be a
one
thing.
too. I've had that one too.
All right, what's
But
that?
so why was the interview horrible?
Because I think it's dumb because, well, first of all, it's just a group setting interview.
Oh, okay,
Right?
okay.
Like, there's obviously people in there that have social problems, right? So it's like, sweep up popcorn and fucking work. Well, the snack bar is different.
Yeah.
But sweeping up fucking popcorn and shit and like ripping tickets and saying, oh, the third one on the left. Like, they shouldn't have to go through all
No.
this. It shouldn't be a character
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So when I realized that, like, all these people are here, I'm like, oh, this is easy because I'm looking at my competition. I know why they do group interviews. 15 people, we save 15 hours, we do this shit all in and out.
And
That's
you
a
find
good
different people, high level, low level, entry level. You know what I mean?
Right, and we're getting people off of their personality. So once I figured that shit out, I was like, yeah, little or David right here, who fucking like has on the dude that eats people glasses, he's probably not gonna get hired. You know what I'm talking about?
The phrase,
You know,
the circle glass,
yeah,
wire frame
talking about.
thing.
Yeah, I just the heads. Look when he gets
Why
the
am I
hair out.
thinking Napoleon Dynamite?
But he hit you with one of these. Just so I'm just I just want to get this job. Like, don't hire him. Don't.
Hey, that reminds me of something. Sorry, on topic.
He's letting
I
whoever.
had two group interviews my whole life. One was for the Y, but I already worked for them. I was going to a different Y, so I didn't give a shit. I was like, I ain't losing the job. It's cool. The second one, for the first one I ever had, was at Hollister, and I'll never forget. We had a group interview, and then they broke you off, and they said, one of my cousins gave me a Hollister shirt. He said, this is so wild. He goes, would you have a problem working with that shirt 2 buttons more down? And I will never forget.
Wait, what? Wait,
Wait.
But in his defense, so
I'm missing what he said.
He said, so I was wearing like a Hollister shirt. He goes, would you have a problem working with that shirt like 2 buttons more down?
What does that mean?
Like unbutton you, like would you work with your shirt like 3 buttons down basically?
Oh.
But then I thought about it later,
Like he
and
wanted
it
you
sounded
to unbutton
it
it?
sounded crazy. But people forget there used to be dudes who just walked around Hollister shirtless. That was the swag. That was the thing. But when I heard it, I was like, "Hey, yo!" And I knew I was gonna get the job because my reaction was like,
Pause.
"Fuck yeah!" No, that was like pause. That
Lack
wasn't a
of
pause.
better
I was
word.
like, this is I'm 16. That wasn't even a pause. I was like, "Hey, yo!" Like you trying to
you were
come?
a kid.
Yeah, like, but I understood. Well, first of all, I probably looked older. I don't think he realized how. And my cousin worked there. He's older. He's like 20 at the time.
that sounds like
so. Like, because also my cousin was one of those guys who walked around with his shirt off, walking through Hollister. So, but in my head, I was like, "Bro, what?" And like
Yeah.
literally, like I'm pretty sure I said, "Bro, what?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, like he clarified afterwards." But I was like, "Oh, like when someone's like," I said, he goes, yeah, exactly what he does. I knew right after that, though. I was like, I'm not getting this
You know
shot.
what? Honestly, Fair would have probably had the very similar of a reaction.
I just feel like there were so many different ways.
He
That was
could
like
have
my
said that.
version of bald headed.
I know.
Like when he said, I was like, "There's so many different ways to ask me this
Nah,
right now."
I honestly, not
It
to
takes 2
traumatize you,
buttons
he could
down.
have said that. He could have
Yeah,
said that better.
but I
He knew you
I
were
had
young.
forgot
Nah,
about
that's
that for
fucking
about
weird.
15 years until right
Yeah.
now when Carlos said this.
Yeah,
group
nah,
interview.
fuck him.
That
Fuck
was
him. I'm
so-
glad you didn't get that job.
That
He's a
was
weirdo.
so
That's weird.
It
What a
takes
creep.
2 buttons down.
Yeah, nah, dog.
hate you.
Are you comfortable
It puts
dressing?
the lotion on his skin. He hit you with the little Clarice.
Nah, he was trying to groom him. Nah, he was testing. He was testing.
Hell yeah.
I saw
The
that.
fact that you said hell not like that, he said okay. But if you would have been like, yeah, okay, he would have been like, okay, yeah, come in the back office. The fuck?
We shouldn't be laughing.
We got
I'm being dead ass.
we got roll-on oil in the back.
Nah, fuck that guy.
Roll-on oil.
What's his name?
I'm trying to think. What do you think my life trajectory
You know what
is? if I
Crisco
wanted-
look like when you put it in the refrigerator?
What's the next question? I hate you. What's the next question? I hate you.
A grease bar of soap is crazy.
Me looking like a holiday ham just walking through Hollister is crazy.
Fucking sliding on the floor. It's crazy. Oh my god, I'm fucking crying. This is a funny episode, man. I am crying, bro. I got so many quotables in here. Oh shit. Oh. Wait a minute. My girlfriend just lost someone close to her and is grieving. She asked me if I'd be willing to leave the apartment so she can have a week alone to herself. I told her, sorry, I can't because I have nowhere to go. My family lives too far away. My friends really don't have the space for me right now, and I don't want to spend the money to stay at a hotel for a week. She's now upset with me and says I'm making things worse. My friends are no help. They're saying I need to give her space, but also aren't opening their homes to offer any help with a hotel. Am I in the wrong for not wanting to leave? In that context, my girlfriend is not frugal as me. She thinks paying for a hotel for a week is no big deal. That's why she is so upset. I did ask her to help pay, but her money is going towards funeral costs.
Yeah, okay.
That was my first thing. I maybe put him up.
It's a tough one.
Stupid question, but obviously you don't always want someone around when you're grieving.
It's not really a stupid question because that last piece that I put, like, to me, I felt like he wasn't getting the bigger message here, but go ahead.
You can just not rock with somebody. I don't know. Like, I've never lived with somebody in that capacity. So I've grieved, obviously, but I've just been to myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we lost our grandmother last year. I don't want to talk to anybody. I avoided everybody in the house for 3 days, and you just moved around. We didn't really talk about it till it was time to talk about it. And I mean, to like put a timeline on it seemed a little bit odd to me, but maybe I'm just not open to everyone does grieve differently. So that's also a factor. I don't get it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not judging. I just don't honestly understand. Like the parameters, the reasoning, the timeline. Like, it's just, yeah. Like, I just feel like there's a lot more moving parts than what we're getting from this. Like,
well, I think that living with someone, especially like when you're one-on-one, let's say you're sharing a 1-bedroom apartment. So you don't necessarily have the privilege of going to your room and just locking yourself away, right? Because it's like, we share this room.
Valid.
And then there's nowhere else to go because now we also share the living room and the bathroom. And so I can understand, like, maybe that need for privacy because there's also a way to, like, I don't know. I know that there's the way I grieve by myself doesn't matter if it even is my partner next to me, is not the same way I grieve next to him. Right. I've grieved with my husband. We got together not long after my grandmother figure passed away. And so, but it's still different. It's not as primal as when you're by yourself in the bathroom on the floor on your knees, praying, screaming, crying, asking God why and begging them, to bring that person back or to make you feel better or whatever. So I could understand needing the space. And I think a week, because that's kind of time to just get through that initial shock, whether it's just screaming, crying, planning, doing nothing. But where I feel is the conflict for me arises as someone who, you don't have a home. There's not people there, people aren't in the position to help you, that like to put who you love out, that doesn't feel right to me. That's not how I would treat my loved one. And especially if I knew, and this is a partner, so it's not like it's serious. We're living together. I'm gonna assume it's serious, and so I would have to be able to find a way to, be able to get that privacy and not force him out of the house or, put him out. Maybe, like she said, she doesn't mind spending the money. Maybe it's, well, I go to the hotel for a week, right? Like, and you stay here, I go to the hotel, so I have the privacy that I need,
I thought that too, but I'll say people grieve differently and people's minds wander. I feel like alone, it would concern me more about her own safety. Not saying like where this person's mental health is, like obviously we don't know this person, but I would, obviously like you said, you can't just have the same primal grief. That's 100% a valid point. But because I thought that too, I was like, maybe she goes to the hotel, but I wouldn't be able to sleep knowing she's at the hotel by herself grieving in that nature, not knowing like what the outcome, because I don't know where her mind's at now.
Yeah.
I don't know
What
what's
if it was
going
a
on.
parent?
Like
That's the hard part.
See, that makes it even that's like that's
yeah.
even that makes
I
it
would.
worse.
The
I
fact that
feel
y'all
like.
said that though, because where my mind was taking me, long story last long, was that I thought it was odd that you would kick me out in that sense, right?
100%.
Like, yo, if we're together and we're living together too, we share a space. Like, you would think, like, yo,
You wanna
like,
lean on me?
yeah, I can leave for a few hours.
100%.
Yeah.
But
Every
for
day.
being gone for a week, that is an issue. Like, I'd have a hard time based on your disclosures, you being gone for a week somewhere without me checking in on you.
And
Something
I
like,
think that's valid as a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe he's asking the wrong questions. It's like, hey, maybe you need, because also when you're acting out in grief, you're not in your right state of mind. You're not acting rational. You know,
Yeah.
it's like she's like, I just need some fucking space to grieve. Get the fuck away. Like, you know.
yeah, it's not
and
that's a normal response, but it's like
But
also
it's
you're
not
supposed. It's not rational.
Exactly. But as a loved one who wants to be supportive of somebody, instead of being like, well, should I leave? I can't go. It's like, hey, I love you and I want to support you through this. So it's a different approach. Instead of like, well, I have nowhere to go and this and that and that. It's like, oh, wait, let's get to the source of this. Why do you need time for yourself for this week? And I don't know if that's a good idea. You know, I can give you a few hours, but I want to be here to support you through this. You know, I think that gives that person an opportunity to allow you to show up for them, and then this conflict is resolved, versus when you get like defensive, then now we're not solution based.
Right.
You know?
I think I would be even more concerned or feel, even though they're the ones grieving, you're not allowed to be selfish or feel some type of way. But if we knew it was coming, like if it wasn't a surprise, and then we knew it was coming and it happened, I would feel like, personally, you don't think that I can help you emotionally in any capacity.
I wouldn't think that. Like, I'm telling you right now, if my son died, nobody fucking talk to me. Don't
But
look
I'm
at
saying-
me.
but there-
Like, it would have no. Thank you so much, God.
that
Thank you
was a
very
terrible-
much. So,
that was
I'm
another
sorry.
example.
No,
No.
but because I'm thinking, honest to God,
Yeah.
if I was in that position, it would have no. I wouldn't even want to talk to my fucking
If that's
daughter.
what it was, I would leave.
That'd be totally,
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like,
Yeah.
but, you know, deep level of grief, get nobody talk to me for a month. I need a month at the Airbnb. Like,
Yeah.
So I think that, like, we can't, and that's the thing, we can't make things personal, especially when somebody is going through a crisis. You know,
That's
it's
true.
like, I think, like, it is easy to be like, it's not necessarily like you said, I can't be selfish about my feelings. When someone is going through something like that, whether it's a best friend, a child, a parent, just a neighbor, whoever, someone who was in their life, I think that's the time where we really do have to step up and put our own, as much as we can, our own kind of like hurt and traumas behind and be like, okay, what is it that I need to do for you? Within bounds, though. I like the different approach. But I don't think that it's fair to be like, well, that means that you mean nothing to me, or what do you think about me? Or, you know, you don't think I can.
I just feel like
see
it hurts
through
me
this.
when I see people that I love that I can't help. And it's one thing to know I can't help, but it's another thing to be like, get away from me right now. And I understand, like, that's a natural reaction without question. But I think to what I was thinking was more of like, if we knew this was coming and it felt like more of a preconceived notion, like if it was like it happened out of nowhere, I get that 110%, or I'd be more like open to it. But it's like we knew this was coming,
cancer,
and yeah, exactly. And then you said it after the fact. That would like make me feel
But
like,
I mean,
like
there's
what
one thing
can I
to
do?
knowing versus actually
No, 100%. But it's
happening.
like, what
you know?
can I do? Like obviously, there's nothing you can do, but like it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Like even though it's not about you, but it's impossible as a human being to not still feel things.
Yeah,
you know
that
what I mean?
my feelings would be hurt
Yeah.
for sure. If my partner was like, "Get out for a week," hell yeah, and I ain't got nowhere to go.
And the
my
worst part
feelings
is,
would be super
and let's be
hurt.
honest, and as human beings,
Fuck
when
yeah.
you know you can't argue back, it hurts more. Because then you're
Yeah.
like, I got to swallow the pride, and I feel some type of way.
Yeah, but I think that like, but you don't. Like that's the thing. A lot of times in relationships, we think that's it, right? I
Yeah.
got to swallow my pride. And no, what you got to do is have an honest, authentic conversation with your partner. And like that's why I'm like, I'm at my point in my life, especially when it comes to relationships, whether it's romantic, friendships, business, acquaintance. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, I want to make sure that we are having conversations because I'm committed to understanding you, and I hope you're committed to understanding me, or at least coming to some kind of neutral ground. And so it doesn't need to be like I know it does hurt and it is painful and it does feel like, this is a attack, or this is, but every time there's an issue, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for everybody to learn more about themselves. How do we respond in conflict? How do we show up in conflict? How do we show up in crisis? How do we deal with and care for the people that we love that are going through difficult times, whether it's something as far as mourning, maybe losing a job, maybe just feeling bad, who knows, going through just a difficult spot. How do we, even when someone we love is being difficult, even when someone we love is maybe being an asshole, how do we show up and how do we resolve that conflict,
Is it fair to, especially in the case of someone grieving, everything you said I think is actually beautiful. To somewhat, not but I guess to the point Carl's just saying though about the rationality of the person in their mind, at that time, is it fair to try to have that open dialogue with them? Because I feel like that's the part that's the hardest. Is like, hey, I want to have this with you, but I know you're not rationally thinking, so I don't know if this is even fair to open the floor to this.
Oh, I think it's always important to consider people's capacity, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and so absolutely, that's huge. So, but when you already are questioning if somebody has the capacity to hold space for a deeper level of conversation, I think that's your cue to be like, okay, let me not react or internalize this or become defensive. Okay. Let me pause. Let me pause or take a step back. Let things breathe and give that person, growing up in church, give that person grace.
110%.
So what I'm basically saying and all this talk, and I'm sorry if I'm not articulating myself well.
No, I think everything you're saying, it makes complete sense, to be honest with you.
Extending the grace, and then when you feel there is capacity, introducing and having that conversation.
Because I definitely feel like some of the people I'm the closest with in the last year were the people that, like, when my grandmother passed, we weren't necessarily as close, but they kept pushing the issue, even though I didn't want to talk about it. But then in my head, I was like, hey, it's showing me love, but it also pissed me off more than anything in the world. Because I didn't have the capacity to be having this conversation. But it did show me that, like, even if I leave you on red, you still care. But it's like also like I didn't like the pressure I felt like it felt like in the time to be having this conversation. Though later I was able to rationalize it differently. You know what I mean? But in the moment, it wasn't like, oh, F them. It was just more like, bro, you already know I'm dealing with something. Or like the girl, like, why do we have to keep doing this right now? But you're not thinking rationally at that moment. That's why I was asking, like, is it fair to even do that to them? Just as someone who, like, from my own experience, I was like, it made me feel better in the long run, but in the moment, I was like, this is the worst thing.
I think that absolutely you have to consider capacity. Oh, that's probably one of the first things, I would, what I'd like to ask though is, because you raised, like, I think a lot of us go through that when it's like, when people want to show up for you, but you're not in the space to receive people showing up for you. How do you like for people to show up for you when you're in that of like, I need it not pressured? Like, can you think of anybody or a situation in that time of your life where they did just kind of pop in and it was enough for you to feel loved, but not enough for you to be frustrated?
I think that it's different because also capacity of relationships matter in this sense.
No, I'm thinking just specifically for you.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's different because capacity relationships, like,
I'm about to get them.
Like, because the female I'm dealing with now, we hadn't been talking when my grandmother passed. Okay. It had been a little bit of time.
Lady.
And then, sorry.
She's going to be on your head.
Sorry, that wasn't my goal.
Yeah, give it to me.
My guy.
Oh, my bad.
My God.
Oh, my fault. There we go.
Yeah, we hadn't been talking. And she hit me up, and I was like, appreciate it. Just kind of brushed it off like I did everybody else. And then, like, 3 days later, it was just like, I appreciate all you've done for me. If you need me, I'm here. And then it's like, and it wasn't like a bunch of, oh, you okay? Or just a, hey, door's open.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like when I feel some type of, in any capacity, and you're fishing for the conversation. Let me know it's an option, but I'm not someone who's like, you're like, just let me know it's an option. Kind of like you're saying about the hotel thing. Hey, it's there if you need it. Just let me know, like, throw it out there. Like, hey, it's there if you need it. But yeah, she was but also to the point, she knows me like emotionally a lot more than most people.
Yeah.
So she knew to do that. There's people I've known for years who I'm not as emotionally as connected with. So I don't think it's fair to hold them to the standard of even knowing to present it that way because we're not there.
I know. I think, well, the reason why I wanted to ask that question is because, you know, on the topic of like, how do we show up for people when they're going through hard times? So I was hoping that you would give an example so, you know, other people could think of like, okay, because we all know people who have been in that same position, but we still want to, whether, especially like, you know, as someone more of like a friend or a coworker, or someone maybe not romantic or even, but just someone who genuinely wants to like, let you know, like, hey, I know you're having a difficult time, but I'm going to still keep checking it. You know, like how does one do that without making it feel pressurized?
What she's speaking to too is exactly what we was arguing about before we got on the mic.
About what?
Because said person that we was talking about that we share in common. Yeah, because it was like I also know that you've reached out to this person and they ain't saying a word. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I know that might be outdated information.
Well, now, but if that occurred in the last 2 weeks, right? Then
yes,
and that's recent.
That's recent. In the last 2 weeks.
And that was, and what I was saying was
phone tag. I actually was gonna tell you that today.
Which is, and I'm fine with hearing that. And this is what I was telling him. I was like, look,
but it's just been that,
But knowing that person and knowing what the last message that I sent that I didn't like really send off to everyone else, I showed you or whatever. I was telling Zoe without saying anything about it. Was like, yo, I left the door open.
Yes,
right. I left the door open for when they were ready to have this conversation. You also missed too, right? Yes. Who I'm talking about, we ain't even got to be weird about it, right? Who I'm talking about is Lex, right? Before Lex took his sabbatical or whatever it is, I got a new proposition for y'all once we done based off of what you said earlier,
okay?
Right? But however, you know, Lex is doing, I ain't got no beef with him.
No.
Right?
No.
And what I'm glad about while he took the time off, is that nobody really questioned the fact that he took the time off, given how he has been, right, in certain pods, right? People have, you know, called and asked or whatever. And it's like, look, man, just do what you got to do to take care of you. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
But what Zoe was saying was, oh, you should reach out to him for the last pod. I'm not. Because I wanted him to know there is no problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I don't have any issues. And he hit up my mom. Remember, you was mad when I brought it up.
Well,
he hit my mom up. He hit Adele up. Right. He seen Chris recently. Yeah. You know, at Millennium Park doing the football stuff or whatever. Right. So like, and he hit these people up knowing that we don't have any beef.
Yeah.
But I think my message was clear in terms of like, hey man, whenever you ready, cool. Yeah. But I don't need to talk to you in another avenue like a group chat when I know more information than what's letting on. To me, that seems like you masking something. Like what we talking about.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I'll say with context, that makes way more sense. Like, or being able to apply it to what we're speaking of, what you said before makes more sense now. By far.
You know, I'm just glad that you actually introduced that topic because, you know, there are definitely people that, you know, of course they miss. I've had different people tell me they miss Lex. They miss the dynamic of the three of us, you know, and is he going to be on for the last pod, you know, and of course, that would be the dream, right? Like, let's be honest, it would be great if we could all come and commence the last one whenever it's going to be together. And yes, 1000%, when Carl told me that Lex hit up his, it's so interesting we're having this conference, when he hit up his wife and his mom for Happy Mothers. I said to Carl, what the fuck? He didn't hit me up. I was like, I didn't get no happy birthday, no happy Mother's Day. And I was hurt. I'm like, me and this mofo, and this is, I would say all this to Lex, you know. We've had, you know, I used to drive his ass home all the time.
Right.
We never just popped out. We would have conversations for an hour to 3 hours just talking about life, he was one of the, whoa, that's weird. He was one of the first people I told that I was in like my abusive relationship. Like even before I disclosed to you, Carl, like I told him the real of what was going on. Mm-hmm. You know, of like, oh, like, nah, dog, I'm getting my ass beat behind closed doors. You know, like, and so we've had like, you know, we developed what I thought was, you know, a friendship. And so I think when everything kind of came to a head, and like you said, he got to do what he got to do, and just this misunderstanding, and we know.
Right.
That's why it was so like hurtful, And then that's why I think it's interesting is because I can show you my text. I'm like, hey, dude, oh, you just never gonna talk to me again? Just like, hello, like I would just like kind of text him. Maybe I was hitting him up pretty regularly. I was telling Carl, and then finally, and I was when I first talked to Carl, I was like, you know what, like, give him grace, reach out, blah, blah, blah. I was on that, like, and then when me and Carl really sat and we really talked about, this is not, we love Lex and we care about him, and, and so when me and Carl, we really had to talk about things and process and exchange information and just learn to trust each other more and really confide in one another. And when, after all of that was said and done, I just really understood where Carl was coming from, and I really was like in full support of how he decided to leave things and being like, I've done all of the reaching out and all of the what I can do to show up and step up, and now it's finally time for me to put in this kind of boundary, and I need you in this season to be the one to reach out to me when we're all ready to have that conversation. So that's how I feel about that. And I really, and like he said, I saw that message. We talked about it. Like, to me, it truly felt like that door was still open. But back to when Carl told me, I was such a girl. When Carl told me that, he hit everybody up, I sure smooth did. I was thinking about it, dog. I was thinking about the next day. I hit him up, and I was like, so what, fuck me? I came out the gate. I was like, so what? No, I'm not even.
So what, fuck me?
I was like, so what, fuck me?
Yo, getting that at 8:30 a.m. on a Monday is
I wish I had
crazy.
my phone. That was probably literally what it was.
So what,
You know what's
fuck
funny?
me?
We talked about, you said, you asked me, like, oh, there's a way to get a reaction out of me when I'm going through grieving. If you've reached out to me like 3 or 4 times and I've ignored it, and you know what?
He ignored me for like 2 months.
Like,
How many months? This nigga been ignoring me for months, dude. I give it a lot of grace.
When you know with the gentle grace and you hit me with the ayo, so it's fuck me, you gonna get a response. That one gets a
Well,
response.
that's probably why he finally called me.
Well, not even just that too, but like on the other end, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, if I
Because
hit
it's
you,
funny, but it's direct.
but he ain't never responded to me either when I sent the message. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna let this go. But then, like at the same time, right? It's like, yo, if I told you, it's weird if I'm in another chat and you start giving me
Nah,
Luka
I'm not
Doncic
doing that.
stats, I'm gonna be like, fair, come on,
Nah,
man.
and you're ignoring me
You
individually. There ain't
get
no
what I'm
fucking
saying?
way.
No, I'm not mad because
I'm not
given
participating
the
in that.
situations, it's just like. Out of respect, man, like I try not to. Because you know me. So let me before I start getting on my shit. Right?
I told you can't power with your family.
Because even when we was at your house when our last cousin got mad at us, right? And I was like, fam, like I try not to put people on the spot about certain things because I understand there's a time and a place now. My mom used to say it all the time, and now I understand what that means. Like, yo, they just not ready for that. You know what I mean? And sometimes there's a little bit of shame with some of that shit too.
A lot of it is you haven't processed the shame. That's why you're not ready for it.
Yeah, and
Like, you haven't told yourself the truth yet.
Yeah,
That part.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
And so it's like
part.
like as it relates to that and this situation right here, it's like, yo, you put 2 and 2 together. It's like, look, man, people deal with shit differently. I understand that piece. What I also understand was there's only so much that I can do. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's where like there's a cross parallel when you ask that question about both of these things. There's only so much this gentleman can do in regards to his girlfriend and the grief. It sounds like this is like either a parent or like a sibling or something like
Something
that.
I was gonna
yeah.
say sibling.
Something
Probably.
like that. You know what I mean?
Weak as a sibling, I feel like personally. No offense. I love my mom and my dad, but if this is one of my
That's wild.
brothers,
Weak as a sibling.
weak as a sibling. I don't know if you
Mom
got
and
time
Dad,
to grab.
we need a year.
But they're older than you. You know what I mean? You supposed in your head you have your siblings forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
So
That's what I.
Oh wait, you're saying you would need less time for your parents and more time for
Yeah,
your
100%. 100%.
Are you with him? I thought that
He's the
was
only
it.
child. He's
Damn,
not on this graph.
Oh, you said you
You're right.
need more time for Miles?
That's what he said.
That's
Well,
my
that kinda makes
dog. Every
kinda-
memory I have in my life,
That
he
kinda
has
makes-
been there.
Your mama brought you into this world.
Every
But
time I was
she's had a
doing
longer
shit, she
time
was
on
I
this.
don't give. Mom,
I'm
I
not
know
saying
she's
to do it
listening.
every time.
But look at how he doing you, Mom.
No, but everything that my mom wasn't supposed to know who was standing right next to me doing that same shit with me.
Your
My
brother.
little brother. That's
aw,
why.
That's sweet.
That's
Actually,
my dog.
Mom, shut up.
Yeah, that's
You
my
raised
dog.
your boys to really love each other.
Like, bro, you
That's the
get
goal.
siblings so you can ride through life together.
Absolutely.
That's why I think it's more heartbreaking, like, in that regard.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, like the only time I broke down about my grandmother was doing her speech at the funeral because it was like, yo, like I didn't know I had to do this shit and the shit was like kind of like how.
Cars up there beatboxing.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
Don't do it.
We can laugh now. We can laugh about it.
Hey, I'm talking about
What do you mean?
Because our grandmother is like the most prepared person on this earth.
I
She
know.
said, "Look, y'all niggas not about to be at this funeral for an hour. Y'all, we gonna do this in 30 minutes." She told the dude that. I seen it in her thing.
Yeah.
They was like, "Yo, I don't want nobody here that long," and then scatter me in different places. So y'all ain't don't come visit me.
No, hey, hold on. Talk about. We gonna get real
Don't
fun.
come- she didn't want you guys
No,
to come
no.
visit. Why?
She
She
paid
didn't-
for the whole thing. She went out like a real
But if you
one.
knew,
I love
well,
that.
we spent our whole year, our whole lives with her. So like when she
Oh.
said it, I was like,
Yeah, that's
there's
her.
no one else that wrote that but her.
But no, come on. We gotta talk about one thing though. I don't know if we're supposed to say this on the pod. Whoever did her ceremony was low-key hitting on my grandma while she was describing her, and niggas didn't want to talk about it at the reception. But Carlos knows exactly. He was like, she was a beautiful woman. Remember 1964?
Oh, God. He was reminiscing.
I looked at my boss
Oh,
and said,
no.
hey, yo, he having a flashback?
No, literally. He was that man was in love.
Talk about
She was carrying them school books down the
He
period.
forgot she had family in the audience.
I said, I know everyone mourns differently, but what's our buddy on?
Hey, I don't know why I'm fucking up her time period with those buckle shoes and like the little tassel socks.
I love those shoes, actually. They're making a
He
comeback.
did too. Nigga, get the fuck out of here.
I was hitting on my granny in the grave.
Yeah,
You
that
ain't
shit
shit.
crazy. That's
I was like,
wild.
Mom, whose man's is this?
That shit.
Okay, I'm done.
Carlos in my life.
No, you're right.
Granny, but you know
I
what?
thought the shit was all
Bro,
my
hey,
damn self.
one thing, hey, trying to get Stella to have her groove back from the grave is crazy. This man was out here.
You better stop that. No. Not Stella got your groove
That
back.
shit was crazy.
Oh,
All right, man. Here we go.
Well, I'm glad you guys are in a better spot.
We'll get out of here. 3 cheers.
Okay.
Shit. Now, what is it we're celebrating? It's a tough time. Shout out NBA Youngboy.
hey, shout out to everybody who got pardoned. Beg your pardon.
Except for the Chrisleys. That's crazy to me.
Hey, you know what though? A great PR spin though. Republican president lets you out. I'm gonna get on stage and talk about the injustices black men go through in prison. I like the riding the fence. I've never seen someone commit to the I got black grandkids bit more than the Chrisleys. And I kind of respect it a little bit. Because he touched turf and went right back to shucking and jiving as a
They
white
said
man.
that he like got I don't even.
Oh, he's out already.
He out. He did a press conference.
He got tan. Like
Recently?
within the 24 hours I was out, he got a
his
tan.
face
went to the body
a
shop.
spray
Oh, he was
tan
looking like
and
Ivan Ooze in the Power Ranger
Botox.
movie. He was
Not
melting.
lipo.
No, he came right back out to the same bullshit he was on. Not bullshit, let me not say that. Because, I mean, regardless of how the message is received, he is trying to, like, spread awareness, I guess, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So I don't want to call it BS. But he came out, and I saw the internet say,
If
Donald
TLC
Trump.
give him a show again, we'd be pissed.
I hope they do. I hope he's a social justice warrior. Donald Trump was throwing him right back in there. He
definitely
went to
getting
jail for
shot.
tax evasion. It wasn't like he a real criminal.
Something about him.
He Al Capone.
Something tells me about that he wanted to go.
I don't know. He
Okay, can we talk? I know we're not supposed to talk about that, but I always thought that, and I didn't know because I would only see him like on clips on the internet.
Yeah,
I
I don't know
didn't
nothing.
realize that
He
he
was
was
there.
like a family man with like a grandchild. Like,
Yeah.
I always because all the clips I would see would
That
be
man
just
gay
him by
as hell.
himself saying funny stuff.
Respectfully.
Yeah, but
Shout
when
out
I
to all
saw
the
that, I was
gays.
like,
got hella kids.
yeah, I was like,
But I met my mom. You remember? God dang. Hopefully
No.
he not
Nah, just,
alive
leave it alone.
anymore.
Just call it the lavender wedding that it is.
Nah, you remember that dude that owned the
Oh
hair
yeah, I already know.
salon?
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
I
think so.
The one that was across the
Yeah,
street from
lavender.
the community college?
Yeah.
He still alive?
No, I don't know if he's still alive. He's good people though. That's my peoples.
He was though.
No, 100%.
But he had a family too.
100%.
I won't say where.
I mean, that's very common.
That's
Some
what
of
I'm
my
saying.
regulars at work is like that.
You know, let me not say my fam's name, but you know, I had an old, you know, from the neighborhood that was one of my dad's boys that lived right here on
A street.
exactly in the neighborhoods,
Yes.
in the real neighborhoods, and he had a roommate. Forever. And it wasn't until I was like...
Why your auntie bringing her roommate to Thanksgiving for the 40th year in a row?
My mom also had a best friend who... now that's a woman. She had a roommate. And when we was homeless, we lived with them. And they were roommates. It wasn't until years later
You
I was like...
one room?
That's your wife. Yeah, and it was one room. It wasn't bro.
Hey, no one talks about learning that as a kid, especially in our communities.
Yeah,
because no one talks about it. That is like, all right, the elephant in the room with this one. Finding out that depending on what church you go to, the choir director is the only one who's allowed to be like how he is in the whole church congregation.
Hey,
they
right.
talk about everybody but him. You know what I mean?
You ain't gonna do that because
Because
my
stop me when I saw him telling the truth.
There's generations of them in that same building. I know what you talking about. Yeah,
it's an assumption, but I'm assuming my choir director.
Hey,
people don't want to go to church. So I'm trying to tread lightly, but good Lord.
And like I told you, I know
I'm not trying to offend anybody.
It's a rite of passage.
Church, but I'm mad. Yeah.
And those buildings is a rite of passage. Pass the torch.
And you know what? I was gonna say. And you know what the funny part is?
On fire too.
And you know what the funny part is?
Torch.
The funny part is when your church get rid of their choir director that ain't one because they don't like the choir.
Yeah.
The first person they gonna look for. I don't know what Indeed they're on.
Ain't no group interviews here, honey.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. We got all that off the Chrisleys. that's
ironically, I feel this is supposed to stay on topic.
Wait, but has it come out like for sure, or we're just all speculating?
He's outside. He did a press conference outside
saying that he is open.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's what
I thought we just finished. He out of jail. No,
I'm
saying I always thought he was, and
we all did, but I thought maybe like he
might hear some
said.
story. He probably thought he was gonna do another 8.
Allegedly.
Hey, just for the stay. Just for the stay.
Hey.
Okay. As you said, you give them an inch and they take a mile, ladies.
I'm not judging. I'm not either.
Oh my God.
You mad at me because I know phrases and slogans?
My best gay friend was just doing knee pops earlier on the thing.
The cars were supporting
We're
them.
not talking about staying in prison though, so we can enjoy.
No.
I
think he had time before the A&E came out.
He's saying like, well, if I'm gonna be here,
it was like, I
might as well enjoy myself.
Then he's like, we're gonna let you out.
Like, oh, I want to go back.
Then it's like, we're gonna let you out. Oh no! Oh no! My story.
We trying to get canceled these last 3 weeks.
The Family Guy do, oh no!
We are.
No, we're good.
We're good.
We didn't say nothing the internet ain't already said. I didn't come up with this.
They were already mad at the bald headed shit she brought up earlier. It's like, what the fuck, yo? This is injustice.
Hey, Jay, I take back what I said. I really thought about this the last hour. Just getting to have a piece of paper handed to you, someone just played a ball headed. It's fucking crazy.
Thank you. This motherfucker said, well, it's a fact. Bitch, you are bald.
Hey,
I didn't have so much bravado on it.
But the foul part is you was a site supervisor and you saw her and you take the hell. You like, well, that's a fade. It's like,
hey, what if hey, what if that's? Hey, what if you? All right, would have been better if you would have played Jada Pinkett cut? Would that would have made
maybe.
Okay,
Put a little respect on it.
Respect.
Yeah.
Bald.
I still think he want to hit though.
Low key. We talk about how crazy men are.
Jada Pinkett was my measuring stick.
I was looking fire. Don't get
that's my measuring stick of like, you know what? The ball ain't bad when she was like younger Jada. Oh yeah.
I
feel like if he was like, oh, Sarah Connor, I'd be like, oh no, you should fight him, man. Yeah, you tee off on him on
2 feet.
No,
heels in the chest.
He was talking shit.
2 feet.
You know when you send the text to the wrong person talking shit and you're like, fuck, like that minute your heart sinks? That's what happened in real time.
2 cheers.
2 cheers, not 3.
Ain't enough for 3.
Ain't enough.
He said 2. He making up a new segment.
That shit crazy.
Hey, cheers to
Hooray.
as someone.
No, hooray, it's 2.
I'm glad you brought this up because I thought about it. I thought it was stupid when iPhone was like, "Oh, you can undo the message," because I thought it was
That
real
shit still
stupid.
stay on your watch. That's fucked up, man. That's
That's how Buddy got caught.
No, for real.
In Mexico, yeah. But
Everything's in the cloud now.
but everything was on the front lawn. But anyway, yeah. 2 cheers to iPhone doing the edit button. 'Cause I used to be just a star edit guy. I'm dyslexic, folks. I don't read or write well. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm not stupid, but if I'm typing fast, I'm not autocorrecting nothing. You know me well enough. You better figure it out.
You don't rewrite. You don't proofread your messages.
Not a chance.
Knowing your
like if it's an important text,
Yeah.
but
After I
most
hit
of my
send.
texts, I'm just BSing with the homies.
After I
Like,
hit send, I look and I'm like,
100, because it's just like such a natural like look down. God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is why
better at that.
it's important. Long story short, my tax got a couple weeks ago, and this is why I said the autos, like the unsend and the edit's important. My tax got a couple weeks ago. Not gonna say his name. He
don't wanna
asked
give him
me.
no business?
He asked me
Damn.
to send because listen. He asked me.
He was in jail.
Back to the back to the Chris Lee thing to a certain degree.
Oh, shit. It might be. Plot twist.
Hold on.
Listen. So he has an Android, so I can't do it, right?
Okay.
So he had texted me. He said, "Hey, when you get a chance, let me give you a call." I said, "Ready when you are." It calls me. He asked me to send some paperwork over, like take a picture of it. I didn't look at the text when I said ready when you are. I look at it, and when I go to send the paperwork, after we get off the phone, it says ready when you are, baby. I send the paperwork. I send him back a text. I said, "Hey, yo, my bad. Didn't know."
Hey, 15 minutes went by.
Yeah, 100%.
15
I
minutes.
said,
to
"Hey,
do
yo,
it.
my bad. I didn't know." It said, "Baby." He said, "Don't worry about it. Kinda liked it."
Oh, shit.
I asked what my
Knows
invoice.
best.
I asked what my
Hey, what's up
invoice.
with all the men wanting you?
I asked what the invoice was. It was $25 cheaper than what it was supposed to be. I said, "Bet."
You better use that privilege.
Hey, I'm pretty to somebody.
You tell a few people, honestly.
Then he said, "Thanks, baby."
Okay.
No, but, wait,
No.
but that's why my 3 cheers are to the undo and the edit, because I forgot about that. But that was one of the funniest things that's happened to me this whole year. And he's a super nice guy. I just don't want to put him out there like that, just because in case that wasn't.
Yeah.
But when he said it, and then I got the discount, I was like, "That's funny, bro." I'm like, "I'm gonna ride this one out though." Fuck.
I love a motherfucker who shoots their shot. Okay.
I wasn't trying to shoot them.
No, him.
He didn't know the
He
difference.
was shooting that shot.
Kinda liked
When
it.
you
It's
said
crazy.
baby, he was like, he
That
was testing the
response
water.
is kind of crazy.
Oh, that's a testing the water.
Kind of liked it. It was like
That's some shit I might
I don't
say.
even-
Kind of
he
like
cast
it.
that shit.
And
Y'all, he
that's
did.
what I mean.
That shit
Shooting
was
his
sitting.
shot.
That shit was sitting in the water
It got
right there.
rebounded back. It didn't go in.
Hold up. Discount. Reel that shit back
Yeah,
in
that
there.
shit was wild. But yeah, hey, shouts to the homie though.
I'm gonna make him remember me.
Re-reel that shit. Go ahead and put
He
some
gonna
bait on
remember
it.
this discount.
He put a worm on the end of it. He gonna remember this
I'm so
discount.
done with you.
That's
he
crazy.
gonna remember this discount is crazy. That's nasty work.
I didn't mean to do
He
it
gonna
like that.
remember
No,
this.
you did. I respect it. I respect it.
25 is crazy. You gonna remember this 25.
What do you mean?
I'm
That's
like,
huge.
You gonna make it straight.
That ain't no little 10.
Hey, I was gonna say,
he didn't give me no 5, no 10. He gave him 25.
Yeah.
Bro, that was like
If that
that
ain't
was like a
shooting a
25.
shot.
Bro, that was like a 10% discount
Shoot.
on your taxes. I'll take it. Hey,
You don't get discounts on taxes.
100%. Call me all the pet names you want.
For real.
Same.
For
Oh
real.
my goodness.
All right. Shit. Jay, any 3 cheers for
yes,
you?
I have my 3 cheers is for my girl Sharifa. She is a beautiful, wonderful spirit, and she's really been there for me during this hard time, and she really blessed me and my family this week. So I want to shout her out. She is on Instagram. She is a beautiful woman of color. She's Muslim. She's a hijabi, but she's a fashionista, model, and educator. Her Instagram is Miss Soulful, exactly how it sounds, but just one S. MISSOULFUL. God, I hope I spelled that right. But yeah, go check her out. She's constantly posting inspirational videos, fashion, and yeah, I just want to shout her out.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Shout out to Sharifa.
I like that name.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's
It is. I wanted to
That's a
hate.
powerful
Yeah,
name.
that's what, I was about to say. Like,
I wanted to hate, but I
yeah, I was
couldn't.
like,
Shit
Nah,
just-
like you
that's
can't
just
say, like
fire.
you know she's in charge. Like hey,
Miss Sharifa.
yeah, Miss Sharifa's coming. Tighten up.
No, no, and that is the scene.
That's why I felt Farrakhan was
when
going
the
Yeah, exactly. That's what he named with his daughter.
When the kids see it, they're
Farrakhan
like-
was gonna come get me. You heard that name from the we wasn't something outside. That's how you gonna say it. When we wasn't something wasn't out. Something wasn't out there.
Something was.
Yeah, we out. Hopefully, Jay with this nice sundress makes some sun tea. Grandma style, let that motherfucker sit out there for 12 hours. And then I can go get that CNH pink bag sugar
Hold on.
and pour up some diabetes.
Hey, you
was
preaching
working
now. You
outside.
preaching now.
Hold on,
They
not the
wasn't out-
sliced
they wasn't-
lemon.
You
Oh,
In that one picture that had the little handle.
after
100%.
dropping 30 on the neighborhood kids, oh my
I
God.
had a triple double. Came back to that gal. Came back to that ice tea.
Damn.
That shit was already halfway full. You better have made two.
Mama,
We
you
out.
knew this was